Good morning, Raptor Freaks and Tempo Freaks. Lexi out here. It's Tuesday. And on Tuesdays in the summer, we do Tuesday trivia. We'll be doing some trivia today because we're celebrating the news yesterday that we got, breaking news yesterday during the stream, that Bobby Webster has signed a new multi-year contract with MLSE to continue to be the general manager and head of basketball operations for the Toronto Raptors. In fact, they added a new title to him of executive vice president also. Not just him, his important people like his second in command, Dan Tolzman, and Keith Boyarsky, and Tyler, Flexman. So many members. In fact, you probably went all the way down. They just mentioned the top ones, but I'll bet you a lot of the front office for the Toronto Raptors got re-signed yesterday to come back, because when you do good, you kick butt, and you're doing a fantastic job, you keep your job and you get more contracts, right? Darko's going to get done next. That's the thing I'm hearing next. So, today's trivia is going to be about the Toronto Raptors front office. We did a Bobby Webster Tuesday trivia earlier this season already that was solely on Bobby. So this trivia will not be just on Bobby. This trivia will be on the entire front office of the Toronto Raptors. So we can get into that. We're going to get into that soon. I ask that people limit your comments, because when we get enough people in here to play the game, I will commence the trivia game. So first of all, let's look at Trevor J's words of wisdom. You step into your highest vision when you invest into when no one can steal your mindset, your character, your integrity, your authenticity, your discipline, and your capacity to stay kind. Okay. This is good. I mean, you want to be true to yourself, and you want to be holding who you are and not losing yourself in the middle of something. You don't want to change yourself just to kowtow or please someone. You want to be your true self. And sometimes that's the whole thing. You got to just keep staying true to yourself. There's things about each of us that are true to our design, and that, sometimes the proclivities and quirks of a personality are inherently built into your human design. And that's that, we're all individually very different. It's like, and if you look at human design and you look at your actual human design yourself, you can actually see the very specific differences between, there may be somebody in your life that's similar to you in some ways, personality wise, maybe, even really weirdly looks like you in some ways, but there'll be subtle differences in your human design that make you not the same at all. Not at all, because there's different channels and gates that everybody has. And if you're interested in human design, you can go look at it. You go put it in, look at it online, say, I want my free human design chart, put your information in, and boom, you can look and see exactly why you are the way you are. If you can decipher the chart, it'll tell you everything right there. Seriously, it's crazy. So find your true self, and you can learn more about your true self by doing that too. Blessings to the Jones family, all the Raptor Freak families. Thank you, Trevor. Trevor's brought up that the outcome of the finals game last night went very well. There's all kinds of different things about why I'm so happy about what happened last night in New York, but them fighting in the streets, the fans getting violent in the streets, is not. That's why I told y'all, New York fans do not deserve to win this championship. They are hooligans. They are idiots. They're jerks. They're people that will yell at the coach of the San Antonio Spurs while he's walking on a New York sidewalk with his very small children, ugly, nasty things that scare the kids. They're just not good people. They don't deserve this. Donald Trump is a New York Knicks fan. That's all you need to know right there. Assholes. Him and James Dolan sitting there looking like two big piles of shit watching the game. And of course, idiot Trump fell asleep watching the game when they spent so much money, so much taxpayers' money, so much U.S. taxpayers' money to facilitate this old orange turd to sit in like a bump on a log and crash out in the middle of the game. Was that all worth it? Yeah, because the Knicks lost and New York hates Donald Trump more than ever now. That's perfect. That is perfect. Come to the next game too, DT, you sorry piece of shit. Come to the next game. I want you to. San Antonio's inviting you down to come to the game. Yeah, This time, come on the Coyotes ticket. Forget about James Dolan. The San Antonio Coyote is inviting you to come down to the game this time. And this time, you don't need no bulletproof glass or nothing, Trump. Just go on down there, be a man of the people. Since you're such a man of the people, you emperor with no clothes, piece of shit. Yeah, that's what you are. That's right. It was awesome. It was awesome to see. And exactly the right outcome. Thank you, Mark Davis. Thank you to the refs last night that had a tough game to ref, but good job. And thank you, Spurs, for figuring it out. Miss Johnson, you don't like them yelling at you and your family on the sidewalk? Kick their ass on the basketball court. That's right. And Knicks fans don't know how to deal with losing. They go out and become violent hooligans after the game. Sorry, pieces of shit. You deserve to never win the championship because you're such horrible people. Honestly, Knicks Nation is the worst nation out of every nation in the NBA. I'm going to say it right now. They are the worst. Lakers are close. Celtics can get up there. Sixers can get up there too. But the Knicks are the worst. They are the worst. That's right. Nothing like success to show just how shitty the fan nation is of the team in the NBA. That's right. Alan Tam's going to review the Team Canada roster once again with us. This is a ritual we do sometimes. Team Canada Olympic men's basketball and FIBA team, 12 players to represent. This is who he likes today. This does slightly change from time to time. He likes SGA. He likes Benedict Mathurin of the LA Clippers. He likes Leonard Miller. He likes Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, Mfiondu Kabengele, Kelly Olynyk, Lou Getzdort, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the Nembhard brothers, and Kem Birch. I'm telling you right now, you might want to take Kem Birch off that list and put Charles Bediako. Telling you, Alan, you listen to me. You're going to keep talking about this Team Canada stuff and which roster should be chosen by Rowan Barrett Sr., RJ's dad. You need to put Charles Bediako in there. I love Kem Birch. I'll be a Kem Birch advocate till the day I die. You could take Kelly or Kem out and put Charles Bediako. Go scout him today, Alan Tam. If you do not know who Charles Bediako is, you need to go scout him right now, and then you'll understand this is the center we need for our team. But you know what? This change is going to change. You take Kelly and Kem out of there, and you put in Bediako and Edey, Zach Edey. You keep saying this, that they are not playing, but they are. They are. Baylor's, Wiggins, Murray, Lyles, Sharp, and Powell. Powell is not bailing. I'm glad you took Zach off that list because Zach is not bailing, and Dwight Powell isn't either. Dwight Powell's just getting up there, and he is not the best player for Team Canada, but he wants to come as a vet and to support, and he will be around Team Canada this summer because he is still in the running to be on the team. Dwight Powell is just hurt this summer, so he is not listed on that list. So he is not a bailer, just so you know. I want you to make sure you're speaking the truth, Alan Tam. And Dwight Powell is involved still, okay? Zach Edey and Dwight Powell were the two extra people that are hurt this summer that are still committed to be a part of Team Canada's cycle coming up to the Olympics. That's right. SGA, let's go. That's right, SGA. Let's go. Edey is hurt, but he is involved still, just so you know. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Trivia Day. Good morning to you, MJ. Hope you're having a fantastic morning. You ready to get that trivia on? That's right. Fiercey's saying, I saw a video of the Orange Man sleeping during the game. And yes, Knicks Nation is a disgrace. Absolutely a disgrace. Look at this. He's got cock of the morning there. All right, Rooster Man. Neil has got that up there, yeah. And Seymour saying, wow, Shaden, I'm not happy. The man made the Baylor's list. Yeah, well, Shaden Sharp is hurt, and he has certain things coming up with his career and his contracts. You know, he's at a pivotal time between his young contract to go into his big contract. And that's part of the reason why these guys aren't wanting to play either, because it's their choice. It's Shaden's choice. Yeah, it's Shaden's choice. And he just sees, like Murray, like Wiggins. You know, I don't even know if they asked Wiggins, honestly, guys. But they couldn't commit, and it's partly because they're worried about their NBA money. Let's just put it pure and simply frank. This is it. That Shaden Sharp is partly not on Team Canada because he's worried about making sure he gets his contracts right in the NBA. That's it right there. And he's a young guy, so he could still have time to come around and be in the next cycle. So he wants to opt out this time. It's not going to help him for the next cycle. But if he plays really good in the NBA, and he has a change of heart by the time the next cycle starts, you could see Shaden Sharp start showing up for the Maple Leaf and Team Canada at practice. So that's what I look at Seymour. It's just this one, he's not willing to commit the next 3 years to being available for Team Canada. And it's a pivotal part of his career where he's switching from rookie contract to a bigger contract, right? And he doesn't want to screw that up. He doesn't want to fumble the bag. Let's just put it that way. I think that's a big part. Yeah, Alan's right. Alan, that's right. Alan Tam, Dwight Powell is hurt just like Edey, and that's why he is not there. And honestly, is it a big deal that Dwight Powell is not coming to play for Team Canada? Come on now. He's kind of up there. We can get younger players on our team at this point, right? Yeah, I will say Dwight has been a very good defensive stalwart for Team Canada in his tenure representing the Maple Leaf internationally. Dwight Powell may not be tearing it up by making a lot of shots, but he has been so important to us defensively as a big in FIBA action internationally for Canada. So I want to give him his just desserts for that. All right, let's go ahead and start this, y'all. Let's just get going on the trivia right now. All right, I'm going to get my glasses, and we're going to start reading the questions. The first person to write the answers will get the 200 points per question. This is Raptors front office trivia. That's right. We're doing trivia on the front office. I mean, people, this is what we do here. We're in depth. We did a Curtis Andrade Share the Love Club on Saturday. We're in depth. We're a little bit more in depth than the average Raptors channel. Yeah, we're a little bit more in depth. And you're going to find that with this trivia right here. All right, so y'all ready? Let's do it. All right, this is Raptors front office trivia. The first question is Bobby's. We're not going to do a question for Bobby after this. This is the only question for Bobby Webster. All right, what year did Bobby Webster start working at Toronto Raptors? What was the year that Bobby Webster got hired and came in? He came in the month of June, and his anniversary has just come up as far as how many years he's been with the Raptors. What year did he start? Fiercely says 2017. That's wrong. He did not start in 2017 with the Raptors. 2016 is wrong, Seymour. No, you guys are too recent. He's been with us longer than both those years. 2015, Fiercely, is wrong. It's too recent. It's not that. Nope. 2018, no, you're going the wrong direction now. It is older. 2013 is right. Neil got it. Bobby Webster has been working for the Toronto Raptors and has been involved in our team and our management since 2013. Neil Blackhawk getting the first points. Yeah, that's right. He's been with our team 13 years, y'all. That's why it's great to have the continuity of him after Masai. And I love Keith Pelly's vote of confidence. He says, we're very proud and we trust that the team is in capable hands with Bobby Webster in charge. That's the seal of approval. That's what we needed from Keith Pelly and Ed Rogers II. And that's what we got in that press conference is Keith Pelly coming out and saying, we check this. We say we approve of Bobby Webster's job. We approve of how he's running this team, and we trust him. That is what we wanted. Last summer, when it was dubious who would be filling the shoes of Masai Ujiri, I said the best man is the one who's already there. Don't even mess with this. We don't need no Leaf mess. We're bringing in some shifter and grifter and Matt Sundin. No. We don't need no Leaf mess. Just keep it with the family is what we said it. Yeah, Neil's saying, wow, I got it. Number one. There you go, Neil. You're winning today. That's right. Imagine getting NBA money for 13 years. Wow, paid. Yeah, I don't know how much Bobby's made, though. You got to think about this. When Bobby started with the Raptors, he was assistant GM, I believe, and he was not like paid, millions. You got to understand, I don't think Bobby's paid like Masai was. Masai was paid like $15 million a year. Meanwhile, Bobby might have been making like $300,000 a year. He's getting a chunk of change, maybe $500,000. I don't know. Is he getting $1 million a year? You guys may think that he's making a huge amount, but you may be shocked at how much he actually makes. You may be shocked. That's right. Neil's like doing a thank you speech. Do I have to play the music, Neil? First, I want to thank my God and Lord and Savior. Mama, I love you. I want Neil to get more questions right because that's hilarious. Alan's saying, all right, Alan, we're doing trivia, man. We're doing trivia. Mathurin will replace Wiggins. Ryan will replace Murray. And Cabangeli will replace Powell and Edey. Kabengele and Bediako. Okay, remember, go look at Bediako. Seriously. Blackhawks speech is continuing to all the kids watching around the world. You could be like me. You know what? I'm giving you a dunk just for pure enthusiasm, Blackhawk. You're getting a dunk. You're at 18. That's good. All right, let's do second question. This man gets one trivia question in like months, and now he's doing like acceptance speeches. That's hilarious, isn't it, MJ? All right, next question. We're going right down the roster for the Raptors front office, and we're going to go ahead and go with our guy Wayne Embry next, guys. You know Wayne Embry, right? Well, what year did Wayne Embry start working with the Raptors? When did Wayne Embry first show up in Toronto to be a senior advisor to the Toronto Raptors? What was the year Wayne first came to Toronto Raptors and started advising us? And he's here with us still. Absolutely. 2006? That is wrong. 2009? That is wrong. Both of those are too recent. Yeah, 2006, 2009, they're too recent. You know, this will get, you guys know, though, it's longer than Bobby, at least. I like that y'all are shooting your shot further than Bobby Webster's 2013. 2019, Fiercey? No, it's not that. 99. That's the closest answer so far. I'm not going to lie. That's the closest answer. 99. Seymour Pate. 1999. That's the closest. It's too long ago, though. It's too long ago. So there's somewhere in between the answers that you guys have given. And yeah, 2004 is the right answer. Fiercey got it. It is 2004. Wayne Embry first came to Toronto as a senior advisor during the Petty era, Richard Petty and Rob Babcock, and he came to the Raptors in 2004. So he has been working for the Raptors or been a senior advisor in semi-retirement for 22 years now. 22 years that Wayne Embry has been advising the Toronto Raptors franchise, and he is in the front office. He may not be full-time or a lot of pressure because, he's up there, but he is involved, and they do talk to him. And this is the thing. Wayne Embry has vast experience in the NBA world, not just as a player, but as a coach, and more as a GM. A GM. He has been a GM a lot. In fact, I have a bonus question for Wayne Embry real quick. What WNBA team did Wayne Embry GM at one point? What WNBA team? I want the city and the team nickname. What WNBA team did Wayne Embry general manage for a period of time in his life, in his career? What WNBA team? We're going to do a crossover with Tempo World here. And I want to see which WNBA team, Dallas Wings. No, the Wings did not exist at this time when Wayne Embry was the GM of a WNBA team. Houston Comets, that's getting closer. That's more in the time period of when he would be doing it. And it's that kind of team, a team that existed, but maybe doesn't at this point. That's right. That's a good guess, Fiercey. That's a good guess. Houston Comets coming back next year, moving the Connecticut Sun back to Houston to be the very storied franchise. Seattle Storm is not right. Seattle's an existing team. This is a team that does not exist currently right now this season, but they could very well be back, is what I'm hearing. San Antonio Stars is not right. The Vegas Aces, of course, were the San Antonio Stars, and they switched. It's a good guess, though. Keep going, Fiercey. Y'all will get to this. Detroit Shock. Now you're getting even hotter because Detroit is coming back to the league, and it's likely they'll use the old moniker of Detroit Shock, but it's not the right city. It's not the Detroit Shock. Keep going. You're very close. Think about Wayne Embry and what are the cities that matter to him. That's right. Toronto is a big one, but there's another city in the NBA that was very important to him for his other part of his career before 2004. So think about that, because he did GM in the WNBA before he came to the Raptors. So that's that window of period, those 5 years there. Cleveland Rockers is the answer. Fiercey got it. Yeah, he was the general manager of the Cleveland Rockers in the beginning of the WNBA. So yeah, Cleveland's getting their expansion team back, and it's very likely that the Cleveland Rockers will be rocking it in the WNBA once again as the name of the WNBA team. So yeah, good job, Fiercey. Fast fingers, Fiercey, on her toes, getting Cleveland Rockers Wayne Embry was the GM of the Cleveland Rockers for a little while. Yeah, it's cool. You guys are going to learn something from me, right? That's what this is all about, this Raptor Freak Trivia. Yeah, you almost wrote Cleveland Charge. That's the G League team. That's right. Good job, though, switching it. Good job. All right, next question, y'all. We're going to do Dan Tolzman on question number 3. What was Dan Tolzman's first position at the Toronto Raptors franchise in 2013 when he came over with Masai from Denver? What was the first position that Dan Tolzman held for the Raptors when he first came over in 2013? So he's been with us too for 13 years. Scout, that's a good answer. Yeah, a little bit more specific. Adversary. A little bit more specific. And thank you for the subscription. Thank you for the subscription. Yeah. Yeah, it is something with scouting. Video coordinator is not right. He's close. It's just I want him to give the right title because it's very, very close. No problem, man. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you're enjoying the Raptor Freak Show. We're here every morning, always going to be talking basketball in Canada, CEBL, all that stuff, player scouting. You're getting so close. Think about the overall title, like maybe who's in charge. What would that title be of that department? Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, I don't mean to be a stickler. It's just that I want 2 words in there. And scouting is one of the words. It's the second one. Player scouting. Yeah. Yeah. But what is the position over all the scouts? Because that's the job he had, basically. Yeah. And now, of course, he's our assistant GM. And he's shifted his position a couple times from here and there. Yeah. Talent acquisition. No. You're close. Think about like who's the head of the scouts? Like, what would their title be? What is their title? Because he was the main scout. He wasn't just a scout. He wasn't just talent acquisition. He was in charge of the whole department. So what would the title be? I want to give you these points, man. I'm gonna give them to you because I think in some ways you're half right. You're half right. I don't want anybody to seagull you. See, Fiercey knows what to say. It's director of scouting. Yeah, that's the right answer. But you know what I'm gonna do? In honor of a rookie, a trivia player here, I'm going to go ahead and give you all both the points because honestly, that's an alley-oop to her layup right there. That's an alley-oop. You threw it to her to catch it, to throw it down. So Adversary and Fiercey will get both get 200 points for this one. You'll both get the points because she doesn't get that without you handing her that spice. She seagulled you. Yeah. No problem, man. We just want to have fun here and celebrate the passion of Toronto Raptors fandom and Toronto Tempo fandom now too. That's right. All right, question number 4. This is for Keith. What front office department does Keith Boyarsky found for the Raptors? He founded this department for the Raptors. This is a department that is in most NBA teams at this point. But what department was it that Keith Boyarsky, he founded it for the Raptors? Yeah. You're awesome, man. That's what this channel is all about, man. This is the interactive morning YouTube show for basketball fans. And, you know, if people have things they want to talk about and basketball related in Canada, this is a channel to do it. This is an open forum for people. You know, a lot of Raptors content makers are one-way street with just these jabronis talking about trade ideas and stuff like that. No. We're here for the culture. We're here for the vibes. We're here for setting the standards of excellence in Raptors Nation. And, you know, we talk about all kinds of stuff on this channel. And we're here every day, 365 days a year. I don't take the off season off. And I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. My streak is like almost 2,000 in a row. Media relations. No, he didn't start the media relations department. This is a newer department that NBA teams have to have more in the recent, like last 10 years. It's a department that's necessary at this point because of the direction that the team are going in the NBA. It's something that people talk about a lot that kind of say it's ruining the sport. Too many people are relying on this, and they shouldn't, because we should just watch the games and use the eye test instead of this. So that's a good clue right there. That should tell you. I want one word, and you guys probably know what the word is at this point. Yeah, what is it that NBA teams? Yeah, Fiercey got it. Analytics, exactly. Keith Boyarsky is the founder of the analytics department at the Raptors front office. He's the first guy who started that department, and this was around the championship. Around 2019 is when he started that that department, analytics. That's right. Yeah, yeah. You clue gave it. Well, I know if I'm gonna say, oh, it's ruining the game, we should just do the eye test. Analytics. It's analytics. All right, let's keep going. All right, another one of the people that got signed yesterday to another contract with the Raptors was Tyler Flexman. Tyler Flexman. What sport did basketball operations manager Tyler Flexman, she's VIP actually, vice president, play for Canada? She nationally played and represented the country of Canada in a sport as an athlete herself. That's her younger life, a younger career. And as she's older, she's a sports executive now. She's the vice president of basketball operations for the Raptors right now. But what sport did Tyla play? She represented Canada nationally in international play. She was that good at this sport that she was on Team Canada. So, what is the sport that Tyla played before she went into sports management? You know, she's from BC and she's a West Coaster, and they're really proud to have her. Okay, you're almost right. Hockey is half the answer. That's not the full answer. So you got to give me one more word with that. It's a form of hockey, but it isn't hockey in the sense of Leafs hockey. Let's just put it that way. That may give it away right there. How many different kinds of hockey are there that they play? So I need one more word, Fiercey. Somebody could seagull you right now if they really wanted to. They could run in, and maybe an adversary could come in and seagull this one back from you. It is hockey. But what do you do when you can't play in the winter? Because it's the summer. What? Yeah, ice hockey's not right. It's not ice hockey. It's not the ice hockey. No, she's not known for ice hockey. Yeah, yeah, there you go. You can seagull this adversary. Don't feel bad about it. It's part of the game. That's right. Golf? Golf? No, it's not golf. That's funny. You think that summer hockey is golf, y'all. I love it. I'm giving this guy a dunk, man. This guy's funny, man. He's a great new guy. Field hockey. There you go. Seymour knows the word. It's field hockey. This dude thinks that summer hockey is golf. I love that. Street hockey. Yeah, field hockey is kind of street hockey, but it is it's not safe to play in the street. So you play in the field. That's right. So we're gonna give adversary a dunk. We give dunks to people that are funny and awesome on this channel. And at the end of the year, we have a dunk championship that we give to the person with the most dunks. And it's usually like a book or some sort of cool prize. I do give prizes on this channel. Adversary is getting a dunk for this one. You got your BI3, my guy, because we give 3-pointers for dunks. It's crazy. We give 3 points for dunks. So you got that notorious BI3, my dude. Just like Brandon. That's right. That's right. That's right. Street hockey. Cleveland Cavaliers. What are you doing, Trevor? Hit live. Hit live. This always happens. Somebody starts answering like 2 questions back in the chat. It's hilarious. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Let's keep going. Good job, Seymour, getting field hockey. That's right. Tyler played field hockey. Seymour, hit live. Trevor, hit live. All right. Next question, y'all. What year? All right. You know Jennifer Quinn? She's the lady who's at the press conferences that says, one more question, just one more question, get out. You know, like when they're sitting in the media post conference and, Scotty's in there answering questions after the game. The lady who stands to the side and says, just one more question. That's it. That's who we're talking about. Jennifer Quinn. All right. What year did Jennifer Quinn leave her job at the Toronto Star to join the Toronto Raptors and work for them as their director of communications? What year did Jennifer Quinn, the director of communications for the Toronto Raptors, leave her job at the Toronto Star? She used to work with Doug Smith. Yeah, she worked at Toronto Star. 2016? That's not right, Cass. That's close, though. Good to see you, Trucker Cass. Thanks for checking in this morning. 2015? That's wrong, too, Seymour. You guys are close, though. You're close. I don't know which direction I should tell you, which way to go. In some ways, I don't want to give it away. Adversary says 2015. It's close, but 2016 is closer. Let's just put it that way. That'll help you hot and warm and cold. 2016 is the closest so far. Seymour, too late, too far back. It is more recent. 2017 is the year. Fiercey's got it. She joined the Raptors in 2017 to become the director of communications, the person who's in charge of setting up the media interviews, picking which players are going to come into the room and do the interviews after the game, and, holding down the media. The media is acting all out of sorts. Michael Grange. Well, Jennifer Quinn going to come give you a smackdown. You don't talk to our players and coach like that, Michael Grange. Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer. Don't take my press credential. Yeah, you stop writing these hit pieces, you motherfucker. Yeah, that's that kind of thing right is going on right there. That's right. 2017 is the year that Jennifer left Toronto Star for Toronto Raptors. That's right. That's right, Eye Candy. Good job, Eye Candy. That's right. All right, next question, y'all. What year did the Raptors hire Matt Redfield? Matt Redfield? Yeah, he's in the front office. What year did the Raptors hire Matt Redfield? Yeah, I know some of these questions like, what year did they hire them? What year did they hire them? I mean, it's tough to write questions on people nobody knows about them, right? And some of you just got to make guesses. What year did the Raptors hire Matt Redfield? Matt Redfield. We'll talk about him in a second, about who he is. Yeah, Matt Redfield. What year? You guys can just take stabs in the dark. Trevor, are you live? I'm not totally sure. You may have answered 2016 for a question before. Yeah, who is this? Who is this? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Just blindly guess. What year do you think Matt Redfield was hired by the Raptors? 2020 is very close. You are just, Slug Deezy knows. He got it. Slug Deezy, the king of the classic card, has entered the game, and he got it. 2021 is the year the Raptors hired Matt Redfield. What is his expertise in? Like, what is Matt Redfield very good at? What is the thing that he deals with? We talked about analytics earlier. There's other things that are being utilized by NBA teams to have an edge. Yeah, Seymour. Yeah, you're just close. It was 2021. Scout manager? No, he's not. He's not. You know what? Trevor. You better make sure you hit live. My God, I feel like you're answering 3 questions ago. Come on now. Yeah. What is the area of expertise for Matt Redfield? Now he went to MIT, y'all. He went to MIT. That is his school that he graduated from, his degree in strategy and analytics. That's kind of right. But what do people use in sports now? And people are starting to use in every kind of way around the world in life. That is what his expertise is in. And that's the crazy thing. He got hired in 2021, and this is the dude who's in charge of a certain department in the Raptors. Yeah, financial? No, it's not financial. It's not financial. AI is right. Slug Deezy got it. This is our AI guy, Matt Redfield. Matt Redfield is the artificial intelligence person for the Raptors front office. He uses AI. So we were already worried Keith Pelly's using AI for the Leafs. Oh my gosh, I hope they're not doing that with the Raptors. Well, they are. Since 2021, Matt Redfield came as an expert in the field of AI. He was known because he worked for a huge AI company, and the Raptors hired him to be their AI guy. And he's been with us for 5 years already. So yeah, Seymour, you're cooked. Look, you got one already, man. You got to at least, participate, and you got one. You're all right. What are you talking about? You're cooked. You're doing good. You got one. You're good. Blackhawk got one. He got a speech, and you're talking like you're cooked. You got one, and you're cooked. And meanwhile, Neil's over here giving speeches, like 10-minute speeches of music's playing on. This man's trying to get it. All right, you're all ears. All right. We'll see. I know you're at work, so in some ways, don't get distracted or get in trouble. That's what I would say right there. All right, next question, y'all. Director of Global Scouting, Patrick Engelbrecht. Yeah, Patrick Engelbrecht. He helped find which current Raptors employee who is in a very important position. He's Director of Global Scouting, Patrick Engelbrecht. Yeah. Who did he help find? He's helped find a lot of players, including Pascal Siakam. He's gone and scouted a lot of international players from Masai and Bobby over the years, Patrick. He's very good at his job. But he didn't just help us find players. He helped us find somebody else also. and he was crucial in the hiring process for a certain person. Giannis? No, it's not Giannis. That's an interesting answer because Giannis has not had anything to do with the Raptors officially. But yeah, no, it's not Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, OG. OG's a good guess. It's not OG. It's not Masai either. No, Masai hired Patrick, and Patrick is a guy who worked for Masai. Now, all these people I'm naming are Masai people, but Masai has not stolen any of them to go to Dallas, just so y'all know. Everybody's staying in Toronto. Because if you think about it, the front office of the Raptors, they're established. They've been here a long time. They have families, they have kids, they have houses. Do they want to just uproot their lives like players do all the time, like Dennis Schroeder? No. And if they have a choice, you could go to Dallas and live in Texas and work from a side there or stay in Toronto. I think I'll just stay in Toronto. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I don't need to go to States right now. I'll just stay in Toronto. Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to hire people that don't want to be here, is what Messiah is saying. Yeah. Let's see. Curtis Andrade. That's a good guess, Fiercey. Think bigger than this. He's the global scouting, head of global scouting. And I'm saying that he didn't just get a player for us. He helped scout another position that's very important for our team. In fact, this may be the most important position on our team other than a player on our team, right? JV, that's a great guess, adversary. Jonas Valanciunas. Yes, Patrick had a hand in scouting for Jonas, but I'm not looking for a player in this answer. I'm looking for another position. Drake? No, not one of our fans. Drake, what did they need to scout Drake? I scouted Drake outside Ontario Place on the ramp in like 2000 when I was going to work. I saw some kid, some goofy looking ass kid standing there at the entrance handing out CDs and spitting, yo, that's how I know Drake. I seen him as a little child before he even got famous, trying to hand out his CDs down at Ontario Place. Not Batia. No, Trevor's getting it. It's Darko, y'all. It's Darko. It's Darko. No, it's not Nav. Nav not scouted. He scouted himself to be a Hyundai dealer in Ontario. It's Darko. Patrick actually helped them find Rajakovic. Trevor's getting the points. That's right. Patrick actually did help them land Coach Darko Rajakovic. That's right. I know he didn't do full name answer. In some ways, Darko is the one that you can maybe get away with. But Trevor, stop doing this. You're the commissioner of fun, and you are a big part of this channel. You need to know the rules, Trevor J. And you write the full name answer for trivia. That's right. But we'll give you this one because it seems like you're live at this point, is what I would say right now. Trevor is live, so this is good. All right, keep going. Question number 9. We're doing Raptors front office trivia. That's right. Only one Darko. I don't know. There's been other guys named Darko, but not as famous as Rajakovic. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, what other NBA team did Director of Player Personnel Curtis Crawford scout for before he came to Raptors? What other NBA team? And I want the city and the team name, just like Cleveland Rockets. What other NBA team did Director of Player Personnel Curtis Crawford scout for before he came to Toronto and was a scout for us at first, and now he's risen up to Director of Player Personnel? What is the other team in the NBA that he worked for before us? Yeah, this is very specific. Curtis Crawford is a good scout, a very good scout. There you go. Slugdeezy found it. Charlotte Hornets is not right. Minnesota Timberwolves is right. I know Slugdeezy's fast fingers too. In some ways, Slugdeezy is second in the trivia standings right now. He's trying to make up some ground, not just with a classic card. He wants to try and catch Fiercey at the end. I don't know if he has enough time, but he's going for it. It's Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes, not the Memphis Grizzlies. Curtis Crawford was a scout for the Minnesota Timberwolves before he came to Toronto, and now he is concurrently the Director of Player Personnel. There you go. We in depth here. That's right. Nobody's talking about Curtis Crawford on the other Raptors channels. No, they're not. All right, next question, y'all. Raptors 905 general manager Luke Wynn. He wrote for what for 15 years? Who did he write for 15 years before he came to work for the Raptors and being the GM of the Raptors 905? Luke Wynn's done a great job. Honestly, his first year, he was kind of shitty, but he did fantastic last year. Luke Wynn, you did amazing last year. Honestly, on the down low, people need to understand just how good he was, man. You thought he wrote for the Globe and Mail for 15 years? Nope, that's not right, Fiercey. That's not right. Sports Illustrated is the answer. So, like DZ knows that Luke Wynn used to be a Sports Illustrated writer because he read Sports Illustrated. And he probably saw that name on the article. He said Luke Wynn, Sports Illustrated article by Luke Wynn. That's right. 15 years he wrote as a main writer for Sports Illustrated. What is even Sports Illustrated at this point? Magazines aren't even important anymore. Maybe you see a magazine stand, you're like, why are these even being sold here anymore? Who has subscriptions? It's all online at this point. And so it's weird. Does Sports Illustrated even have a swimsuit edition at this point? Are they giving out cheap ass watches and all kinds of weird shit and commercials at this point? It's like, if you order your Sports Illustrated today, you'll get the swimsuit edition. You'll get a towel with the Sports Illustrated logo. You'll get a clock. You'll get a watch. You'll get slippers with Sports Illustrated logo. Yeah, you order now, $19.99, 4 installments for the year. We know, us old heads know. We remember what Sports Illustrated used to be. What kind of institution is it at this point? Nah. You know, in some ways, Sports Illustrated, it had good articles. And sure, the swimsuit edition was awesome, but it was about the pictures and the capturing of sports moments by photography that made Sports Illustrated so special. But in this world of the internet, it just kind of died and went away. So Luke Wynn, he said, well, I better get out of the publishing business. I better go run a G League team in Mississauga. Yeah, that's what happened right there. You like this real talk? This is what we do every morning. This is real talk here. Yeah, we'll talk about how Trump screwed up the Knicks last night. Oh, yeah, we will. All right, here we go, guys. What university did salary cap expert Isaac Lax attend? What university? And I'll give guesses at this. Yeah. AI Illustrated now. That's right. AI Illustrated. Yeah, it's online. I couldn't find Sports Illustrated if I wanted to at this point. I couldn't. I don't even know if it exists. Seriously. What university did salary cap expert Isaac Lax attend? Like when he was going to his schooling. He's a salary cap expert. What university to go to? I'll give y'all some guesses. From a couple of guesses, I'll give you all some clues. Basically, like I do. I know it's wide open. You guys could be just naming any university out there. But at some point, I'll give you a clue, and you guys will get it right away. But I want to see a couple of just blind shots at it. What university y'all think Isaac Lax went to? Yeah, Florida University? Like University of Florida? You talking about Gators or Seminoles? Because you ain't got no Florida State in there. If you're talking about where this guy went to, along with that guy, Mr. Barnes, and Miss Conde of the Tempo. Nah, we Seminoles at Florida State. But yeah, Harvard? No, that's not right either. Carleton University. Okay, I like that we put a Canadian university in there. All right, I'll give you this guess. One of the people that was at the game last night went to this university, the finals game last night, and they did a little ceremonial jump in the middle of the court with Shaquille O'Neal. It's his university. Georgetown University is right. Slug Deasy knew that from the great Patrick Ewing, and that is right. Georgetown is where Isaac Lax went to school to study, and that's where he went. Ryerson, UCLA, these are all great guesses, but it's Georgetown. He's a Hoya, just like old Dikembe and Alonzo and Patrick. That's right. They're Hoyas. That's right. Next question. We're on 12 of 17. Director of basketball operations, Shelby Weaver, also owns 2 companies that deal with what? Shelby is the blonde-haired woman that's such good friends with Chris Boucher. She's been running around the Raptors for a long time. She's awesome. The Raptors players love her. But Shelby doesn't just work for the Raptors. She has 2 private companies that she owns that are centered around a specific subject. What is it that Shelby's 2 private businesses besides the Raptors deal with? That's what I want to know. What is Shelby doing? Yeah, bam, son. There you go, Alan Tam. Bam, son. Yeah, hit him when it hurts. That's right. What is Shelby doing with their private companies? What do they gravitate around? What is the item or thing that Shelby deals with in her private companies other than working as the director of basketball operations for the Toronto Raptors. Yeah, she's worked her way up over time. She's just like a person that was a gopher that helped get stuff for people, and she's gotten her title up more. And this is why somebody like Chris Boucher's like really loves her and respects her, is because she's a business person and she's out there hustling to get things done in her private life besides just her job with the Raptors. Yeah. Get back to the kids. Get back to the kids. Nah. Creative agency. That's kind of true, but I want a specific. Yeah, all right. Slug Deezy's got half of it. It is sneakers she deals with. But let's make it more specific, Slug Deezy. You're halfway there. It's a particular kind of sneakers. This is funny because when I tested this on Adriana yesterday, she got the other half of the answer, but didn't have that part. Yeah, sneakers and streetwear for women. That's what I wanted, Fiercey. That's right. Shoes for women is what it is. And this is the answer, basically. Orthotics? No. All right. She has two companies. She has a company called Make Way, and Make Way is the first ever boutique in North America. That's for the States and Canada that is only sells women's athletic shoes. There's no men's shoes sold in it at all. Sold at all because that market, if you think about it, athletic shoes has been so catered towards male customers and selling to males, and the female market was always an afterthought. So Shelby saw an area of a niche for her to jump into and make some money off of. And so she has the first ever female athletic shoe boutique in all of North America, and it's called Make Way. Now, the other company that she has is called Mac House, and it's basically a shoe customizing company where basically, and this is the first in North America also, is basically it's a store that you can come into and you can look at what you want for a shoe and design it, and they will make it for you right in front of you. And you can get your own customized sneaker made at this place. So that's her companies. She has Make Way, which is the first ever female athletic shoe boutique, no male athletic shoes at all in it. And then the customizable sneaker place where you can go in and make your own sneakers at Mac House. So yeah, learn a little bit more about the great Shelby Weaver of the Toronto Raptors front office. Yeah, orthotics is a good guess. I mean, this is something people need, especially an old guy like me getting older. That's right. I'm getting older. I might need something like that at some point. That's right. All right, next question. What country was director of scouting Chad Saunders, who was the G League Executive of the Year in 2021 for the Raptors, 905? What country was Chad Saunders the general manager of in the past? He's general managed a country's basketball team. And what country is that? What country has Chad Saunders been in charge of running as the GM of their team? Kind of like, I guess, Rowan Barrett Sr. for Team Canada. He was in charge of that. Barcelona, Spain. That's a city in a country. So you're saying he was in charge of Spain? Yeah. Yeah, we're always young, King. That's right. It's all a mindset. That's right. I mean, how old do you think I am? I'm 50 this year, or last year I was 50. And like I act like a child. It's all in your head. That's right. Spain, Germany, Dominican. Okay. Slug Deezy's definitely looking it up. He's definitely looking it up. It is the Dominican Republic, the home of Knicks freak Webster. Yeah, he was the GM of Dominican team. And I guess that's DeAndre Ayton, right? DeAndre Ayton's on that team. No, wait, no, DeAndre Ayton's on Bahamas. Who plays for Dominican? Somebody plays for Dominican, right? I want to think that there's a good an NBA player that's playing for Dominican. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not saying. Yeah, it's like Deezy's on it. That's all right. It's cool. He keeps the game going, keeps the game moving along. That's right. All right, couple more questions. We'll be done. Scout Aleem Hassanali started as a Wayne Embry Fellowship recipient. That's how he came into the team, was through the Wayne Embry Fellowship program. Well, he's now a scout. What university did he attend before coming to the Raptors through Wayne Embry Fellowship? Yeah. What? Yeah, Cat. It's Cat that's on Dominican. No wonder I forgot about him because it's Cat. He played as a Celtic as their center. He played for Dominican Republic. Yeah. 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 I remember now Dominican. Oh, Chad did? That's why? Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's see. What university did Aleem Hassan Ali go to before he became to theirs? University of Indiana. He's a Hoosier, like Isaiah and Butch Carter and Glenn Grunwald. Temple University, went to Garrett's University. That's right, Garrett Temple University. That's a good university to go to. You become an old head, play till you're 40. That's right. How do you do that? Welcome to Temple University, Jacoby. I will teach you. Thank you, GT. Tell me how, G-Temp. Well, you got to take care of your body, Jacoby, and you got to do right and listen to your coach and your front office and do what they say. And you'll stick around this league for a long, long time, young Jacoby. Oh, thank you, Garrett Temple University. Is that what that is? No, it's not that. All right. I will say this, that Aleem went to a domestic university. That's right. That's right. That's right. Toronto University. That's a good guess. It's not Toronto. Oh, you're talking about Al Horford. Yeah, Al Horford played for his Celtics and he played for Dominican. That's right. That's right. Al Horford, a legacy player. His father, Tito, played in the NBA long time ago in the 80s. That's right. People forget about that Al Horford's a legacy player. Yeah, that he played Ryerson. No. Pennsylvania University? No. We may need to go out west for this one. Let's just say that. We may need to go out west and hang out with our buddy, the sheriff. Yeah, we may need to hang out with him for this one. You know, Sheriff, did you check out? You gave up? You threw your hands up? You walked away? This is your question to answer right here, Seymour Pape. This is your question here, right here to answer. That's right. What university did Aleem Hassan Ali go to? Edmonton University. Oh, so close. She swings, she misses. Just so there you go, Fiercey. University of Calgary is where Aleem went to school. That's right. That's right. We going over everybody. Wayne Embry Fellowship recipients. That's right. Here's another one. This is another Wayne Embry recipient. Salary cap strategist Nilofar Asbedzada is another Wayne Embry Fellowship recipient. Went to what? Law school. What law school did Nilo go to? Nilo, yeah, she's a salary cap expert. She works with the salary cap. Yeah, we hired her through Wayne Embry Fellowship, but she went to law school somewhere. Where did she go to law school? Yeah, I'll give y'all a clue if you give me some blind guesses. That's right. Where did she go to school? I know these are some ways. How do you make a trivia about people nobody knows anything about? Well, you just make it fun. Let's guess some universities, y'all. Let's see where you think they went. Where did Nilo go? She's a strategist for a salary cap. In some ways, these are the people we need to talk to about Jakob and IQ's contracts. And they tell them, yeah, this is how you get to know the franchise. That's right. This is PhD level Raptors trivia. And this is stuff that, you know, general Raptors fan, this is what we do here. We inform. That's right. Trevor's saying Harvard. You think he went to Harvard? Or she went to Harvard? It's a she, sorry. Yeah, it's not Harvard Law School. It's a good guess, though. That's top notch. Dalhousie? Ooh, that's top notch, too. All right, I'll give you all a clue. This school would be a school that the person that sits with Kia and Kate would love to know that Nilo went there. That's right. The person who sits with Kia and Kate will be so happy that this is where she went to law school. That's right. York? She went to York? York University? No. The person who sits with Kia and Kate on TSN for a broadcast, he would be very happy to know that Nilo went to this school for her law school. That should be the clue right there. That makes it easy right there. Leo's school. That's right. Adversary knows it's Leo's school. Where did Leo go? Syracuse. That's right. It's Syracuse. It's like DZ knows that the great Leo Routens, the kid from Kiel, is a very, very proud Orangeman. Very, very proud. Slug DZ getting the card. That one. That's right. His son's school. His school too. Leo went to Syracuse himself. And yeah, he's through and through orange and blue. That's right. He's through and through orange and blue. And so is Nilo, the salary cap strategist for, you couldn't place it. You need beet juice to wake up. That's smart. You drinking some beet juice? You're my people, adversary. Seriously. I'm all about the juicing. Juicing will revitalize your brain. That's right. That's right. Good job, Slug DZ from Fiercey. All right, we got 2 more questions and we'll be done. I feel like y'all have done very well. We've got a diversity of people answering and getting the questions today. It's very good. All right, next question. This is the only person in the front office who's ever gotten a triple double for the Toronto Raptors, and his name is Ben Uzo. Yeah, Ben Uzo. Yeah, he got a triple double. What year did Ben Uzo return to the Raptors to become a scout for the Raptors? He played for the Raptors a long time ago, and he broke the streak of 11 years that the Raptors did not have a triple double in their franchise history. He got one. He just barely got one, but he did get one. Yeah, yeah. What year did he return to the Raptors to work for us as a scout? And it's funny because when he came back, Tom Duke and I met him and we talked to him then. Yeah, 2023 is right. Slug Deezy's right. It was more recent than later. Ben Uzo came back to the Raptors as a scout in 2023. Slug Deezy is fast fingers today. He is tearing it up, Fiercey. In some ways, he's on a vengeance tour here. Yeah, Ben Uzo, one of the guys who got a triple-double in a Raptors jersey as a player. Yeah, it's kind of cool that we have a former player in the front office, right? You know, even a bit player like Ben Uzo that most people forget. Yeah, easy does it. That's right. Let's go. Last question of the day, y'all. And this is the one. This is the last one, and it's for the last front office person we're going to do here. Data analyst Jose Nandez has a PhD in what field of study? Data analyst Jose Nandez has a PhD in what study? What does he have a PhD in? A doctorate. This shows that we have high-level people in the Raptors organization running the front office. Right here, communication. You think he has a PhD in communication? Nope. Finance? Nope. Nope. Psychology? Ooh, these are good guesses, y'all. These are good guesses. Data scientist? Nah, it's close. It's close. It's data analytics? No. This is insane. In some ways, this don't make no sense. You know, Eric Curry, assistant coach for the Raptors, has a crazy degree that's way beyond his job, right? This is kind of like that. Let's just put it that way. You know, if you know Eric Curry, the assistant coach, former Raptors 905 coach, this man has a very high level PhD in certain studies that don't have to do anything with basketball, but he still has that degree. So what has Jose got a PhD in? Just astounds you. Philosophy? No, it's not philosophy. This is a degree that if you hear somebody say, I have my doctorate in this, you're like, whoa, you are smart as fuck. Holy shit, this guy's really smart. Holy crap. IT, information technologies? No, it's not even. It's a realm that doesn't have anything to do with basketball. There's nothing to do with the Raptors. He can't use this law degree in his job. Or not law. It's not law. Kaz put law. It's not law. Molecular science. No, it's astrophysics. He has a PhD in astrophysics, like Sheldon on Big Bang Theory. Seriously, this dude, Jose, yeah, he's a data analyst for the Raptors who has a PhD in astrophysics. Astrophysics, like space stuff. Yeah, astrophysics. That's the answer. Slug Deezy got it. He was able to track it down. All right, so what I do is at the end of the stream, I will add up all the totals and I'll put the trivia standings in the comments of the stream at the end of the stream. I'll do all that after we're done with the show. Because now that we've done the trivia part of the show, we move on to the other stuff we do on the show, which is the different segments like the classic card, the Raptors Redder of the day, the Tempo Redder of the day, the straight goods on Canadian goods, all the fun stuff we do. Yeah, easy does it. Again, there you go. Yeah, thank you, Fiercey. It's enjoyable to write these for you guys. It is a challenge to come up with original content and original trivia year in, year out on this channel, but we continue to do it still. So, yeah, I hope y'all learned something more about the Raptors front office just now. And that's what the goal was. That's it right there. Have some fun and learn something about your team. That's what I say right there. All right, let me get these glasses off. All right, let's see. All right, y'all want to talk about anything? We can talk about the Knicks and the Spurs last night. We can talk about the tempo. We can talk about whatever is going on here. Cool Cat is here. Good morning, Coach Cool Cat. Love Game 3's outcome. Yeah. I mean, this is important, right? Look, we don't want them rewarded for doing what they did, rolling out the red carpet for that piece of garbage. And in some ways, you know, any way we can garner less support for the horrible person, the criminal in charge of the United States right now is great. This is an ingenious way to do it. Have him come to the NBA. It's almost like Adam Silver knew the plan all along. He's like, no, we're very proud that he's coming. This is good for world peace. Let's just put it that way. The Knicks losing last night with Donald Trump at the game is good for world peace, because now the whole city of New York hates his ass even more. It's not that they liked him already, but if they any of them kind of liked him, they don't like him now, honestly, because he messed them up in the finals. And honestly, if this is the turning point and the Knicks somehow lose this series after going up 2-0, this will be crazy. This would be crazy, and everybody will blame Donald Trump. And in some ways, that's awesome. In some ways, that's so awesome. In some ways, I'm telling you, that's so awesome, man. Yeah. Respect, adversary. Thank you, man. I hope you'll join us more often, man. We have stuff going on all the time. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a preview for the Tempo versus the Sun and the Commissioner's Cup. The Connecticut Sun will be coming to Coca-Cola Coliseum tomorrow to play our new WNBA franchise. And it's going to be fun, man. I'm going to be all about that. Yeah. Fiercey's saying, quick shout out to Fiercey Jr., who's graduating from high school tonight. That's awesome. All right. Fiercey Jr., is she on the list? I think she might be. Let me go see. We might need to give Fiercey Jr. her own dunk for this one. Let me see. She should be on here. I think she's been on here in the past. You know what? I'm going to give it. You know what? She's not on here. We're going to give it to her right here. We're going to write it in. We got some first-time dunkers right here. Fiercey Jr. is getting a dunk for graduating. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Fiercey. Whoa, why is this not? All right, come on now. Don't be goofy. All right, my spreadsheet was holding up for a second. It was frozen. All right, let me write it in. Fiercey Jr. is getting the dunk here. You know what? I'm going to give her an extra dunk. I'm going to give her 30. That's like times 10, graduating from high school. That's awesome. Of course, we know that Fiercey Jr. has signed already to play collegiately basketball for the Hurricanes. So she'll be going there in the fall to play, to continue to play basketball like she did in high school for a college. And that's fantastic. We're so proud of her journey, and we can't wait to find out more about her exploits through her mom and what she's doing as, raising her up right and raising her on basketball over there. That's right. Yeah, she's a Hurricane. Let's go. That's right. Adversary is saying, how do you feel Wemby is playing as his first finals? I think he will show up better next season. Well, this is a crazy thing. I mean, if we think about the Spurs and their year last year, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They made the playoffs, and they're running right on into the finals. So in some ways, what do we expect from them? I mean, it's a learning curve, but he's gone all the way. So at some point, he's going to bump his head. He's very tall, right? Good morning, sir. You're on the Raptor Free Call-In Show. How are you today? Oh, he hung up. Call back if you want to, caller. I don't know. Anyway. All right, we'll keep going. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I reached another birthday milestone today, sharing the day with my FMU crew. There was a surprise birthday celebration on Sunday. Good vibes all around. Was it your birthday? Like, all right, I'm guessing, is this a birthday or is this the birthday? Is what I'm wondering. All right, let me see what's going on here. All right, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so we got Calgary calling in. This is Seymour calling in. All right, what was the problem with answering the questions? Why'd you give up, man?
Man, no, I think my service connection is just slow. When I write it in at the same time, it gives it to other people who are a lot closer to.
Oh, okay. So you think it's, once again, you're blaming because you're in the middle of the country and you're not in Ontario.
Right. The connection's just not there. Roger's doing me dirty.
I got you, man. I got you. But you did get that one. You did at least get one question. So
yeah, I'm good with the one.
Yeah. So what's going on? You want to do a classic 4 quarters?
No, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Do you think that, because I don't know if you've seen on the social media, a lot of people out this way are talking about the violence that was done to the Spurs fans after the Knicks game. There's a lot of videos circulating right now of Spurs fans getting their jerseys ripped off of them and beaten up bloody and stuff by Knicks fans. Do you believe this was more of a psyop from the Gov or the elites? Because Remember what I was saying to you? Politics and sports should not be intertwined. And you have this guy like Trump who shows up at one of the most important games of the season. He's never been to a regular season game all year. He comes during the most important time to come steal the spotlight, which enraged the fans. And then you had violence on a level we've never seen all year between the left and the right, because New Yorkers were beating up people from San Antonio.
I don't think that this has anything to do with left versus right. I don't think this has anything to do with this. And I don't think this has anything to do with Trump either. I'll respectfully disagree that this is just normal behavior for New York. They did it in the earlier rounds too. They attacked Philadelphia fans when they played Philly in that round too. This is just New York. This is just New York Nation. This is why those pieces of shit don't deserve to win. Is because they are awful. They are awful. No, that's business as usual. I think if anything, it was agitated by Trump because they took them away from their normal viewing spots and put them in other places that were different and kind of displaced them. But listen, the Knicks lose in the playoffs. They're hooligans. They're getting out there and they are going to do stupid shit like what happened last night. And it sucks. It's barbaric, but it really doesn't have anything to do with politics. It has more to do with how shitty New York Nation is as fans. Now, look, there's great Knicks fans out there. Ben Stiller, Tracy Morgan. There's celebrities. There's good people that are Knicks fans. I have friends that are Knicks fans that are great people. But there's some very shitty Knicks fans also. And they're right in the middle of the city. And they're the ones that will go out there and be hooligans like this. So this is not uncommon. This has happened. This happened last year when the Knicks were in the playoffs too. When they went out, they got angry and they attacked people. So this is just common Knicks behavior from their fans. Nothing to do with
I just wanted your opinion on it because, like I said, people out this way are talking about it and they're looking at it a lot differently.
Well, you know what's going on in your province in Alberta is they are psyops in that province to try and separate. There's MAGA people there. There's American people there that are trying through Danielle Smith to fool Albertans into wanting to leave Canada in all kinds of stupid ways. So there's all kinds of mind fucks going on in your particular province for sure. And there may be people taking the opportunity of a situation in New York last night to have devious intentions behind what they're trying to promote with that. And in some ways, you feeling that kind of energy is very honest and you're sensitive to it. But honestly, that is what you should be paying attention to. It's not the psyops people are in Alberta. The psyops people are in Alberta trying to hoodwink and lie and manipulate emotions on people. It's the same kind of thing where people say crime is out of control. We need more police. There's so much bad happening. And that's actually not true. The statistics show that violent crime and a lot of different issues with crime have gone down a lot in the last few decades. It's just that,
I have a question. I have a question. Was Trump at any of the when did he become the president? Was he the president during Oklahoma's championship run last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Did he show up to any of those games?
No.
That's all I'm going to ask you.
No. And he shouldn't be showing up to games. This has been a big topic in the last couple of days. Is like a sitting president doesn't normally go to sporting events. They cited that W. Bush went to a Rangers World Series game once. That's maybe the closest this happened. Of course, I've got this on. I think this is on my Raptors Reddit of the day. No, it isn't. We'll talk about Obama's trip to the finals for the Raptors game as a guest of Masai. He came to our arena and watched one of our finals games against Golden State. But at that point, he was not president. He was a former president.
I respect your on like how you view it. At the same time, though, like there's certain points that have been brought to my attention about certain things about like I always say, politics has zero space in sports. It should not exist. And I feel that the fact that he showed up for this game in this setting, he sort of triggered something. Well,
I think that he triggered that people hate him even more is what he triggered. Is honestly what it is. I think that he triggered that people hate him even more, especially New Yorkers. And I think, and this is what I'll say to what you just said about politics and sport. I completely disagree with you. And I will say one name, Jesse Owens.
You want politics in sports.
I will say Jesse Owens. And that is all I need to say. I will say Muhammad Ali. I will say the hockey, the Miracle on Ice. There's all kinds of ways that politics should be involved with sports. It's the same thing that I believe music should be involved with sports. I believe famous people should talk about politics. I think that the problem with what happened last night is that a narcissist, kleptocrat pedophile decided that he wanted to become the most important person, and he ruined a whole game for the whole city of New York. And it has nothing to do with his politics or anything like that. It has to do with his narcissism. It has to do with the narcissism of James Dolan and asking him to even come there, and then them doing this and closing down 5 city blocks around Madison Square Garden yesterday.
This guy, we agree on that point, that he came to steal the spotlight.
Yeah.
You know,
he's doing it partly to normalize. It's like he's a criminal on the getaway, right? The Epstein files is his crime. And he's in a car driving away like Bonnie and Clyde, shooting at the guns and the cops coming after him. His way to try and get away is to normalize himself, to make him see himself like he's a good guy. He's an everyday guy. So everybody will forget that he fucked little girls and killed them at Epstein's Island. And that's what he's doing. He's in a getaway car trying to normalize himself, saying, oh, I'm an ordinary guy. I'm going to the Knicks game. See, you guys should love me. I'm an everyday guy. I'm having UFC fight on the lawn of the White House. That's all this shit is. We've got to understand that the mainstream media and people are trying to normalize Donald Trump to make him seem like he's ordinary and just fine when he is absolutely not. And that is it.
Symbolism will be their downfall, man. Look at his body language there. He was sleeping during most of the game.
The downfall is already in the process and is coming. It's already coming. And last night was a sign of it. Trust me. Last night is a sign of it. Americans don't like being told what the fuck to do. And MAGA wants to tell them to just fall in line and lick the boot. And a lot of Americans, even if they're not left-leaning like me, even if they're centrist, even if they're right-wing, they're like, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me, Zach De La Rocca. I will not fucking bend a knee and lick your damn boot, you fucking orange moron pedophile. And that's the thing that's happening here. Is this like, look, they want you to conform to MAGA world? No, sir. They want to make MAGA world normal? No, sir. There's too many of us old heads that remember how the world's supposed to be, to not let you transform this world into the world that y'all want it to be, Donald Trump.
So, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you said that the Spurs fans getting their ass beat after the game is business as usual. That's the word.
Listen, they were throwing hands just as well. And look, some Knicks fans caught some too, okay? So let's not put it like they just got massacred. Spurs fans were holding their own, trust me.
All right, yo, I'm not trying to piss you off. I guess the political stuff cannot be discussed on this.
No, we can. It's just that you want my sincere, honest take. This is what it is.
But you didn't even let me finish the question.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. I wanted, as a Spurs fan, I'm not going to let you say that we got our ass beat. No, because we threw hands back. Trust me. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Right, so what I was going to ask without being interrupted.
All right.
Like you said, there was video of Spurs fans bleeding with jerseys being ripped off their body after the game in the streets.
Yeah.
If the shoe was on the other foot and people from New York were getting hands and feet put on them in San Antonio, Texas, what would you say to that? Because you said that happening in New York is business as usual because the people are that's just how they are. They're ugly sport fans.
Yeah, they're hooligans.
If that action happened in San Antonio, what would your reaction to that be?
Okay, well, as a sociologist, as somebody who studied this in grad school at Florida State, as a social scientist that follows social movements and understands social psychology, that wouldn't happen in San Antonio. First of all, part of it is that San Antonio is a wide open desert that doesn't have condensed areas with streets. And people would disperse into more spread out ways than just condensed in the city. Part of the problem is the Knicks fans come out there looking for it. They want to watch the game. And if they don't win, they're upset and they start throwing hands. They ripped the jerseys off Philly fans and bloodied them just as much as they did San Antonio in the round before, just so you know. There's footage.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's footage of them doing that to Sixers fans also. So,
Jeez.
So it's not, once again, this isn't about San Antonio versus New York. This isn't about East versus West. This is about Knicks fans being pieces of crap, is basically that, and period, end. You know, if we were playing them in the playoffs in the first round, like it looked like we were going to, and we switched to Cleveland at the last second, we would have had this same kind of shit happening to Raptors fans in the city of New York while we were playing them too. It doesn't matter what the other team is. They would have done this to us. They would have done this to Boston. They would have done this to Philly. They would have done this to.
That's a good point. That's a good point, what you're saying. That's a good point, and it makes sense. But at the same time, you know how in the media space, like there's talking points, there's certain things that people go off, like controversy sells is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
The angle of it happening, the violence coming into it, and then you have one team being from Texas, the other team from New York, which is the center of both diplomatic. I guess you could say Philly is for the Democratic side, but New York is stronghold Democrat. Same with Texas. A lot of people could spin the violence from that and put it into a political sense and turn people against each other just through this event happening.
I feel like there's somebody that's filtering this lens of looking at this for you, and they're actually in Alberta. They don't have anything to do with what happened in New York.
I'm over here. You know, people. I'm not going to say no names, but a lot of people they didn't take that the right way. But at the same time, they don't have the information that I'm privy to. Right. Like talking to you, you could say, you know what, Knicks fans have been doing this to people in series before this and other teams, right? So I think now that it's on a national level because
there's finals, more attention.
Right, there's more attention, and now when this is happening to a team from out west, and like you said, this would never happen in San Antonio. So now when people from San Antonio in the west are seeing this behavior, they're like, "What kind of grotesque, nasty behavior is this?"
You know, I pay attention to some of this stuff with sports violence. This is something that's an interest of mine that I've studied in the past, like for school. And, you know, there's hotbed areas where there's hooliganism around sports. Obviously, in some of the South American countries, there's some very bad, ugly stuff with like assaults and murders, even like where soccer fans will literally kill the referee after the match. In Europe, the hooliganism can be very awful in UK for people being very gang-like for their team and throwing down in different places. In the United States, we're pretty good for the most part. New York is a bad spot. Another very bad spot in the United States is the Dodgers fans in LA. They will fight and kick the shit out of people in their parking lots. And they actually murdered someone once because a Dodgers fan punched an opposing fan. He hit his head on the ground and he died because he hit his head on the ground. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So the phenomena of sports hooliganism is not necessarily tied to any political party. That's the one thing you have to separate in this conversation, Seymour. It has more to do with passionate fans that are getting tribal and more like street gangs for their team and their colors. It has way more to do that than any kind of politics. And it could be very well there's opportunists in the province of Alberta that are trying to make a lens of it like this is West versus East, or this is left versus right, or this or that. The crazy thing is the Spurs fan nation is mostly Latino. They're mostly not very well-to-do in a lot of ways, as evidenced by them reselling their tickets to Knicks fans and coming in and invading their arena in the first two games. You know, there's a very different fan base. You've got New York, which is the Mecca, is the center of the New York Stock Exchange, the UN, the middle of the NBA, all this stuff. And it's so overblown self-importance mentality, and also the center of just like very wealthy people too. And then you've got San Antonio, which is not one of the top cities in Texas. It is like hurting in different ways. And so, you know, you can look at the demographics and the characteristics of the fan bases and understand, you know, you're more likely, if you take an average Spurs fan, it's probably an older Hispanic woman that wants to bake you a cake. And you take the average New York fan and you got a raving mad 20-year-old white guy in the middle of New York who will try and insult you in front of your girlfriend and then maybe even likely punch you.
Right. You're right. Yeah, because San Antonio is not bigger than Houston or Dallas or Waco or Fort Worth.
No, and
those cities are all all bigger.
And if there's anybody out west in Alberta co-opting this situation to make the Spurs fans feel like they're Western people from Alberta, they are nothing like you. Spurs fans are nothing like people in Alberta. Trust me. You know, they can be very progressive, and they can be also people that are just hardworking people that are thankless people that do hard jobs like maids and, you know, couriers and people that are doing menial jobs. And, you know, that's more likely the Spurs fans. So,
yeah, no.
I hope I've enlightened a bit more on this, because in some ways I worry about you, my guy. You're in the middle of it. And that province out there, and you're inundated with all kinds of crazy shit, I'm sure, on a daily basis.
Oh, no, it is what it is. It's good out here, man. You know,
as long as you're healthy, happy, and you're doing all right, that's all that matters. That's at least to me. So, all right, Seymour, any last points before I let you go today? This has been a fantastic call.
Thanks for letting me on, and we had this chat.
Yeah. Any way I can help, like maybe see other perspectives and give the bigger picture in general, so that we can understand this better. That's better. Yeah. This is one last thing I'll say real quick about this. It's been a blessing that for most of the last 50 years, the Knicks have sucked. Let's just put it that way. It's been a blessing. Crime has been down because the Knicks have been bad. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
It's much better when the Knicks are shitty and inept and don't run their team right and they don't have any success, because people don't get hurt.
That's true. Yeah, because that whole area, I would say even Philly, Boston, New York, that whole area.
It can be like this.
Yeah, they're very hands-on fans, man.
Yeah. Philly's not much better than New York, but, you know, you see that when the Philly fans cross the bridge, come to the series that they had against them, they got swept. And even though they were sweeping the Philly fans, they still beat their ass and ripped their jerseys off and bloodied them, just like they did San Antonio. And they didn't even lose to them, and they still did that to them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're shitty people. That's why I do not want them to win. Everybody who wants the Knicks to win just for OG Anunoby, you're stupid. We do not want the Knicks to win. Trust me.
Straight up. But y'all have a good day. Sorry for taking up y'all time.
Thank you, Seymour. I'll see you, man. Thank you for the call. That's our guy, the sheriff, Seymour Pape, holding it down for us in the mountain region time out west. Raptor Freak Nation, coast to coast. Let's go. That's right. Yeah. Adversary saying congrats to Fiercey and Fiercey Jr. That's right. We're a support channel, a supportive channel for our family and different things going on. That's right. Vinay ain't here. That's right. Vinay, where are you? We don't know. That's right. Hey, Shaq Lindsay, thank you for the $7 super chat, my guy. Welcome back, man. Good to see you back in the chat. We love you, Shaq Lindsay, longtime Raptor fan and Raptor freak. Shaq Lindsay in the house. Oh, we getting another call. What did I do to get so many calls today? This is awesome. We got, and coming in hot right now, we got the infamous 6. Good morning, infamous.
Good morning, Lex. I usually don't call in on a day like this, but I had to definitely chime in on the conversation.
Sure.
You are 100% on point with your comments, and I think you handled Seymour. Seymour made some great points.
Yeah.
And I think you made some excellent points as well. I think you handled that call extremely well.
I appreciate that.
I want to say that because I want to echo your statements too, because you took the words right when you were talking. You took the words right about. I said Jesse Owens, like I was Muhammad Ali. I said politics. Here's the thing: politics has always been entwined with sports. Like whether we like it or not, it's always been there. You can go all the way through history. It's always been there. We can even go back as recent as the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
When the whole NBA shut down.
That stuff mattered. What the NBA did. The Raptors having that bus in Tampa mattered. You know, that was a big, very bright billboard to the world. And in some ways, you know, the other thing about that was that the NBA union, the players union, flexed their muscle for how powerful they are. And that's important because look,
very important.
The people that always say you shouldn't mix music or sports with politics are the people that don't gain from it. That's what it is that they understand that most musicians are going to be artists. They're going to be maybe progressive. They're going to be creative. And they're not going to probably align with some of their old conservative views that are kind of like, oh, you just want, you're trying to make us look bad. That's why they always say, shut up and play your music. We don't want to hear you, Bono, shit like that. And that's why I say, like, look, I always respect somebody like Wemby because he's taken political stances. He took a stance on how he feels about the genocide in Palestine. He's taken stances even with this thing with Trump just in the last couple of days. He didn't mince words. He was very unfiltered, and I appreciate that because Victor Wembanyama is going to make a lot of money in his career, and he could hurt himself financially by being politically outspoken.
Exactly. I just want to say about the New York fans.
Yeah,
you are right. You're 100% on point with the New York fans. It really has nothing to do with politics because if you remember the Indiana series, there was a gentleman that was coming out of the stadium there in New York, and he was attacked by a bunch of Knicks fans to the point where Tyrese Halliburton, I don't know, it became national news.
Yeah.
And Tyrese Halliburton gave him tickets and offered to pay for tickets to him and his family and so forth. So this is not an occurrence that's just happening now.
No.
It's happened before with the Knicks.
Yep.
The Knicks fan base has always been a rowdy, contemptuous,
and that's the thing. They're built up. They're built up for decades of losing and mad. And in some ways they feel more entitled than they're built up. And some of it is also indicative of the younger generation fans are not necessarily as following the rules of society and stuff like that. Cause I'm trying to think about when the Knicks played like the Rockets way back in the 90s. Did we have these issues? I don't remember Knicks fans.
I don't remember we having them.
Fighting people like this when it was the Ewing era. I do not remember this.
I don't remember anything like this.
I feel like it's been this whole gulf of Knicks ineptitude in their front office and James Dolan being the owner from like those days of Ewing, a little bit of success with Carmelo and Linsanity, and then pretty much nothing good until recent years. And now it's like they're finally playing for things that matter, and all of a sudden now we're seeing it. Now,
they've always been like that.
Could this be that this has been happening for regular season games, but it's not a big deal because it's not a national spotlight on the game, but there are Knicks fans fighting people after regular season games in the 82? And we just didn't know that because it's not being broadcast? I don't know.
Can I give you a little theory of what I think was happening? And it sort of correlates with what Seymour was saying. I think we got to be very careful of the information that we receive, how it's being filtered through different lenses. Yeah. And I think you touched on that. And I think what's happening is that when incidents like this when incidents like this happen, it wasn't nationally known because not everybody has cell phones, cameras, and all that kind of stuff to record everything. Nowadays, we have all that. We don't have to rely on the national media or sports media to get our information now. We can literally get the information straight from the source. So what I think is happening is people are may take one incident, and they may completely blow it out of proportion, and then put a little bit of seasoning, which is the political angle, into that to filter it through a lens to push an agenda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's maybe what's happening with Seymour, unfortunately. Yeah. Maybe he's getting that information that's being filtered through a different lens.
I completely agree with that. It's like, who knows? You may be getting it through like a commentator or an influencer or somebody who's got a YouTube channel and they want to like show the clip and then they're putting their own spin on it. Like you just said, the other thing we got to remember too, is the rise of AI means don't believe anything you see or hear at this point.
Correct.
Because they can make clips of Barack Obama saying the craziest shit in the world, and it's not real at all, right?
It's not real at all, exactly.
And they're gonna get better with the AI, where it's gonna be looking like real events are happening, and you can't tell whether it's real or not.
You can't tell if it's real or not.
Yeah. So we really gotta be. There's a certain level of trust in the press to inform correctly, which we shouldn't have because it's all bought and paid for by corporations now. And then there's a certain level of like mistrust for what you actually see and hear because everything could be fabricated soon.
Right.
So,
and I just want to say this to all Raptor fans and all basketball fans, and I got to be aware, I got to do a better job myself as well. just be careful of the information that you're getting, and make sure you double check the sources that you're getting the information from. Get multiple sources when you're obtaining information about sports and basketball and just anything in general, because we live in an age where, again, people may have certain agendas. They can filter certain things. They can. There's certain people that have certain political agendas.
They want to prey on emotions. They want to prey on your weaknesses.
And you know what the scary thing is, Lex? And I'm afraid of this for our society. Attention today is worth more than currency. People are just so starved for attention that they'll go out there and do almost anything to get attention. And that's a scary, scary thing. So they'll throw morality out the window. They'll throw all these different things out the window just to get that currency. I call it a psychic high or a psychic currency.
It's a dopamine hit. Yeah,
it's a dopamine effect. And it's become even more valuable than money itself.
I worry about that with children and young people that are growing up and their minds are developing still, because you could start raising kids that like develop senses of self-worth just solely from clicks and likes and views and attention. And that's bad. People should be able to live on their own and not give a shit. I don't care on this channel. Like, in some ways, it's like I could have way more subscribers if I promoted myself more and put myself out there. I could have way more subscribers if I did a shorter stream. I could have way more subscribers if I catered to like doing the things that a lot of content makers will do. That's the whole thing. It's like, you got to kind of understand, like, you don't want to base your self-value on whether you get attention or not. Because I don't do that for this channel. I don't give a shit if nobody watches me. I'm just doing this as a service, as somebody who loves the Raptors passionately and wants to share that passion with other people that share it with me. So yeah.
And you know what, you do a great service, because you speak whether we agree or disagree with some of the things you say, right? We're not always going to agree with everything, right?
Especially on basketball stuff.
Right. But here's the thing. I respect the fact that I know that whatever you say is not filtered. That's how you feel.
Yeah.
And you're not abiding to a company or a corporation where you have to toe the line or say certain things. Whether I agree or disagree with it is your organic thought.
Right.
It's strictly organic.
And I'm willing to go there. A lot of people will not talk about certain subjects because they're worried about getting in trouble politically with losing people. They're worried about getting in trouble with the person who's their employer, who's paying them. And they're like, yeah, you can't do that. No, that's something true. And I think that that's something that society is going to value more and more with the rise of AI is authenticity, is people being real and being for real sake. Like, you get the vibe of whether it's like, this guy's full of shit. No, this guy is actually real straight goods. Like, this dude is coming to me correct. You know, you can get the feeling when somebody's full of shit and when somebody's not. And I think that what we're going to find in society more and more as it becomes more fabricated, that we are going to value authenticity and honesty and real kind of realness more and more as we go forward. And, you know, people may start shunning the mainstream media partly because they see it for what it is truly. And they're more reliant on more independent news source people. And, you know, even being somewhere here, like where we distill it through our thoughts and logic and critical thinking, we can come to conclusions about stories out there together if we work through them together with a mindset of like Windersting it through, like Brian Winders would. Well, does that make sense? Is this really?
I always do that now. Every time I hear information, I'm like, wait a minute, that does not compute it. Logically, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But you know what, Lex? I appreciate I don't want to keep your time.
I appreciate you too, Infamous.
I appreciate you too. Great conversation. I mean, it's a great conversation to have because, you know, this is how we get information out there, and this is how we awareness and what's going on.
Yeah.
And politics, unfortunately, will always be a part of sports, and it's always going to be intertwined. But this is how we get that information out there and get to the truth. So I just want to leave on a positive note. Two things can be right sometimes.
Yes.
And I just want to say, to all Raptor fans, to all basketball fans, all out there, Raptor fans, Raptor freaks, We have a great, blessed day and touch grass.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Infamous, for the Infamous 6. And I will say this, you know, they are a very good bad example, Knicks Nation. And sports fans around the world, you don't want to be like them. Don't act like them. You don't want that reputation. Raptors fans, continue to be the friendly, great Canadian people that you are, and be welcoming to the people that come to our arena as opponents. And also when they are in our streets, we continue to hold the line as far as we are good people here, but don't fuck with us, elbows up. Okay.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. I would say maybe it would have been propaganda, but we have evidence of this happening over and over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people say, well, it's propaganda to make Knicks fans look bad.
No.
But the problem is we have evidence.
There's a track record.
Concrete evidence of this happening before, over and over again.
And I
would have dismissed it.
This may be very important for the age we're going into, is hold fast to what you already knew before the pre-AI and the pre-AI era. Hold fast to what you already knew. And remember that the world hasn't really changed that much. It's just that the way that they're going to try and make you perceive things has changed. And if we understand how it used to be and how it was, that can inform us for what is not real going forward.
Correct.
And the AI and the whatever, the things about the Knicks Nation, there is a track record that we can point to historically way before any of this spin and stuff like that. Like you said.
That's the track record is what I point to. But Lex, I want to touch on the Bobby thing, but I'll do that another time.
Okay.
I may have a conflicting view about the whole Bobby situation.
No, you can't do this to me. You go ahead and do it right now. Come on now.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Yeah, okay. We'll go ahead. But this will be it. We'll do this.
Oh, you want to? Oh, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. The stream's on Bobby so we need to do this. He's the picture on the stream today. So.
Okay, this is nothing personal against Bobby itself, but the concern that I may have, right, with Bobby, with his contract extension and so forth, is that. Is he being extended or he's being kept in the organization because, and I hate to use this phrase and this terminology, a yes man. And let me clarify that. A yes man in the sense that he's the guy that is going to keep the books in order when the head man, Rogers comes and say, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. Is he not going to push back and say, no? Like, Masai is not, we know Masai has the track record of like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Whether you like, this is the right direction to go, whether you like it or not. Right?
I've got a good answer for
why he got dismissed. But are you getting what I'm saying?
So you're worried about Bobby being too much a yes man to Pelly and Rogers?
Yes.
Okay.
That is my concern.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna describe Bobby's position very, very specifically right now, and hopefully I can elaborate. And I'm using these words from what I've gleaned from him and what he said in press conferences over the last few years, knowing his personality, knowing about the dynamic about how him and Masai worked together in the front office for how long. Now, all right, Rogers and Pelly dismissed Masai. You were exactly right. Masai, when he came to Toronto, he was the team culture setter, the trend setter, the one who made the whole We the North thing and made the Raptors who they are today. In some ways, he had to have autonomy to do whatever he wanted to do. And Larry Tannenbaum led ownership group allowed him to that. Larry said, you do whatever you want, Masai. We trust in Masai, and we will let you do this. And that really worked out well. We see how that worked. Now, the ownership change to Ed Rogers from Larry Tannenbaum was going to be a very tough time because in some ways he did not want Masai to have the autonomy to run this team with nobody kind of watching over him. Like Larry was over Masai, but Larry never acted like it. Larry was just kind of the owner, came to the game, smiled, and had a good time and enjoyed the success. But he didn't care about being hands-on. Sure, if Masai needed something, he would help him. If he wanted advice, sure, he talked to him. But otherwise, he stayed out of it. Now, Rogers and Pelly don't like Masai. We know this. And in some ways, yes, there is a yes man position at the head of the Raptors at this point. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. In some ways, Bobby, as the person who's left in charge after Masai is dismissed, has to play a very difficult role at this point afterwards, where he has to do things to run the team as the head of basketball operations in honor and in the style of Masai Ujiri on the down low, and doing some of the things, what would Masai do, but also be catering to the over of Keith and Ed Rogers looking down and saying, yeah, you got to do it the way we want to. I think a good symbol of this is the fact that the Raptors, this whole entire past season, ran the whole year with an empty chamber in their roster. They did not fill the 18th spot on their roster the whole entire year.
Exactly. That's
for like 10 days, they had Mo Bamba. They had Mo Bamba, and that's it. Well, this is a difficult assignment. In some ways, Bobby can't run the team like Masai did because he doesn't have that autonomy. But he knows the styles. He knows the plan that they had before Masai was let go. He has to have the difficult challenge of trying to work underneath those other guys, get it all to work, and still stay true to Ujiri's vision. And he's doing it. That's the amazing thing about it.
Yeah, he's under a lot of
pressure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, a lot of pressure because he kind of has to live in two worlds.
Yeah, and it's not the same.
I get what you're saying.
And the other thing he said also that was really interesting at the end of the year was, yes, this year has been totally different than any of my other years with Toronto. As far as, I've had to do a lot more different duties that I didn't have to do when Ujiri was here. But I don't mind it. I've enjoyed getting to know Keith and Ed more, and I feel like we have a very good working relationship. And then Keith Pelly coming out and saying yesterday when they signed his new extension, we trust in Bobby. He's doing a great job. I know we don't, and we don't, but this is the good thing. Because when they dismissed Masai last year, we were in a limbo point where our team could go different directions, especially if they fired Bobby too and brought in a whole new person who could have been running the Raptors this last year. It could have been a disaster. Let's just put it that way. So keeping the incumbent and keeping Bobby, and Bobby juggling the balls in the right way to take care of the things with the team and with the ownership is the most ideal case at this point. Masai was lucky. He got to do things all the way he wanted to for a long, long time because of Larry. But it's not the case anymore with the Raptors at this point. And Bobby Webster has to walk that line. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, time will be the best judge. I'm still on the fence. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat.
Well, don't be upset with Bobby. Just understand that he has to do things a certain way to really walk the line at this point. And honestly, I think that he really loves the challenge of doing it that way. And he's being successful. So that's what matters.
I just hope that the handcuffs are not on the back. They're on the front and not on the back, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I will say this. Like, look, there probably is some things that he can't totally do all out like he wants to. But, we'll have to see. Like, all we can do as Raptors fans is hope for success.
Just hope for the
success. Hope for, non-toxic work environment, hope for good people in the right places, and hope for just good things to happen with draft picks and further development of a young core. So, I think if anything, Bobby is the perfect guy for this, and he's up for the challenge, even though it is much more difficult at this point.
Perfect. I love you, Lex. You have
love you too, Infamous. I appreciate you, call. We got so much done.
We had.
That's
Great conversation by Seymour. Okay.
That's right. East and West love each other. Let's go. All right, Infamous. Have a great afternoon, and touch grass too, my guy.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Good to hear from Infamous on the call today. And really important, interesting subjects. I'm glad he expressed his concerns about the Bobby stuff there. And I'm glad I got a chance to elaborate a bit more on the specifics about Bobby and his position in the Raptors at this point. That's right. Fiercely saying this. I don't think it has to do with politics. Knicks fans who acted out would have done the same without Orange Man in the building. NBA should give a strict warning. It was unacceptable to watch. Yeah, I don't know whose jurisdiction this is. It's the New York streets. That's NYPD, right? That's right. Is Adam Silver responsible for New York Knicks hooliganism? I don't know. In some ways, it would be good if he could get out and publicly say something about this and denounce the violence of Knicks fans and their bullshit. That'd probably be smart, Adam Silver. If you said something about this, that's right. Yeah, it'd probably be good. That's right. Adversary saying the same fans that would leave the arena in the fourth when the team is losing. Trash fans. Real talk. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there are people that don't go through the thick and thin with their team when they're losing. Fair weather fans that maybe only come around when the team's above 500. Yeah, there could be some fans like that they're like this. I think it's also maybe symptomatic of the societal worries in general, economically. When times are tough because prices are going up because a war nobody wanted, and tariff system that's stupid as fuck. The emotional strain can manifest itself in social disorder and social chaos. And some of those people that were out on the street in New York, they may not totally be working it out because they're upset that the Knicks lost. They're upset because their dollar don't go as far this year as it did 2 years ago. And that strain is always something that can inflame bad situations because people need money to eat. And the US is going down the tubes with as far as pricing and costs and stuff. And for everyday citizens, anarchy and social deviance will manifest in various forms. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Didn't Obama go to one? Yeah, he went to the Raptors game too in Scotiabank Arena when the Raptors played the Golden State Warriors in 2019. He, of course, wasn't a sitting president. He did not need to be behind bulletproof glass. He did not need to sit up in a skybox. He sat at courtside, right next to the court, and watched the game right there, right next to the court. And nobody messed with him. In fact, they gave him a standing ovation. So it's night and day on this one, right? It's night and day. That's right. Let's see what else y'all are saying in the chat. Great to see new names in the chat this morning, and great to have intelligent conversations about impressive things right here. That's right. This is what we're talking here today. Let's see. Josh Monroe's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak Josh Monroe. Good to see you, man. The Knicks are starving for a title. Yeah, they're crazy. In some ways, that kind of energy will get you the wrong kind of energy from the basketball gods. Inviting the piece of shit pedophile in the White House to the game, James Dolan. Well, you may have just cost yourself the title. Seriously. It's funny how energy works sometimes. It's funny. Yeah. Thank you, Shaq Lindsay, once again for the super chat. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying people need to check their history. The Black Lives Matter movement didn't start in the 2000s. Yeah. I mean, it's just got prominence during of course, the Derek Chauvin, Floyd incident. Yeah. It got prominence and became a very mainstream topic. But yeah, there's been a movement of this for a long, long time on the down low. And it's a great movement. Honestly, it's important. Everybody's lives matter, but especially populations that have been subjugated historically for a long, long time. That, in some ways that really matters there. Yeah, for sure. Kaloy saying, morning, Lex and Philip Freaks. Good morning to you, Kaloy. How is Santino? You're right, Lex. Fuck the Knicks fans. Just saw a video where the fans jumped the fan with a Duncan jersey and jumped them. Yeah, it's just ugly. Why would anybody be rooting for them to be successful and happy? You want these horrible people to be happy and win? It's one thing to root for Ben Stiller and Tracy Morgan, but it's another thing to root for these pieces of shit that are out in the street in New York City. Seriously. Yeah. Olympics 1969 in Mexico. There's another one. That's right. I hope the Knicks blow it and they lose in 6. Fuck the Knicks fans. Yeah. I mean, that would be epic. In some ways, that's a roller coaster and a half, because after winning game 1 and then game 2, Knicks fans thought they already had in the bag, right? Wouldn't that be such a great swerve? Seriously, that would be such a great swerve. Shaq Lindsay saying, black athletes face harsh criticism for standing up to the political environment during the civil rights era. Yes, Bill Russell, our guy Wayne Embry himself, our senior advisor to basketball, Wayne Embry. He was a pioneer in the NBA fighting for African-American rights societally through the union of the NBA Players Association. There's very, very important stuff that happened in the 60s and some of the changes in the civil rights era that happened because NBA All-Stars did not take to the court for the All-Star game. And they said, no, we want this and this. They want social justice. They want to be paid fairly. And they also want to shine a light on civil rights issues. And, this is so important. Bill Russell is important to the NBA, not just because of the Celtics. He's important to the world because of civil rights struggles. And people got to remember that. That's why number 6 is retired. It's not because he's a Celtic. It's because of, in some ways, it's despite the stuff that the Celtics fans did to him racially. You know what I'm saying? Shaq Lindsay's saying either we sit on our hands and do nothing or we stand up for what is wrong. Exactly. That's the why when people say, man, let's not get political. Let's not talk about this. Politics turn me off. Bro, everything is political now because MAGA world has tried to make everything political at this point. That's just how it is. And they're the kind of people that say, if you don't conform to what we want, then we will try and crush you. And we can't have that. The power of the people, and the people should be diverse and have their own freedom of choice on how to think. Nobody should be a cult of personality for an orange man pedophile. No. That's what Corey Glover sang about in Living Color. Look in my eyes. What do you see? The cult of personality. And it's something that you don't want to get into, that MAGA cult. Trust me. They know your anger. They know your fears. They'll tell you 1 and 1 is 3. All those lyrics that Vernon Reid and Corey Glover wrote at Living Color's Vivid album from 1988, it is pertaining to now. That song is deep if you listen to it. Listen to it and understand what a cult of personality is. It's just like Jonestown and the Kool-Aid. I'm telling you right now, it's the same shit. Trump and MAGA. It's the same shit. It is Kool-Aid. And they will all die because of him. Watch. Seriously. Because he's just awful. And that's what Jim Jones did, right? At Jonestown. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, I don't think Bobby is a yes man, but I do think there are limits to his leverage. I think that Bobby's extremely smart and he understands in business, you have to work with people. And in some ways, he has to understand who his boss is and he has to work with them. And he doesn't want to be an adversary to them, just because the fans are not big fans of Keith Pelly and Ed Rogers because of what they did with Masai, doesn't mean that Bobby needs to have them as enemies. He needs to work with them and he needs to have their trust, which he has. And he needs to finagle it all. In some ways, it's like Masai said before he left, I have so many bosses. I have the ownership, I have the press, I have the fans, I have the team, I have the coaches, I have my staff. They are all my bosses. I work in servitude to them to help everything work well. That's what Masai was so amazing because he was selfless as the number one guy in charge. He was listening to everybody else and trying to help everybody in their cases. And that's why the Raptors rose to prominence and are such a quality organization. Bobby Webster, in some ways, has to take that mentality from Masai also and say, my bosses are my bosses. I work for them, but I don't just work for them. I work for my team. I work for my coaches. I work for my fans. And that's what Bobby has to balance in all of it. That's what he has to do. All of that. Yeah. Stargate's here. He's saying, I still don't trust Keith Pelly. I don't either. But unfortunately, he's in our organization and he is somebody that we have to deal with. And in some ways, I'm okay with him right now. In some ways, look, the stuff he's doing to the Leafs is much worse. The stuff that's happening with the Raptors, he's hands off. And we can only pray and hope that he continues to let basketball people do the basketball stuff. And he stays the fuck away from the Raptors with AI or any kind of bullshit. Seriously. Because, he can run the Leafs in the ground just because he thinks he knows something about hockey. But he don't need to be coming into the boardrooms with Tolzman and Webster and all them and trying to chime in and on that. He should just sit there and watch them and see what they're doing. And you know what, Keith? This isn't training on the job. If you're watching Bobby and how he does his job and you're trying to learn from it so that you don't need him anymore, no, you don't have the experience and the wonder whiz kid of the salary cap that Bobby Webster is. So he is not replaceable. And that's the thing. Keith, you go ahead and watch him do his work and trust him because Bobby's doing a good job. That's right. Yeah, I think just like anyone, Pelly doesn't want to fuck things up and he'll leave the basketball stuff alone. Yeah, I mean, it really is as simple as if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The basketball team's been on a good trajectory and journey. That's why the dismissal of Masai was just so stupid and puzzling because there was no reason to let him go. In fact, last year we paid him $15 million to sit at home, and we could have gotten the usage of Ujiri out there, but Ed just wanted him out. He still paid him $15 million last year. That's why he had to wait a year to sign with Dallas, is because he was still under contract with the Raptors. He just wasn't asked to do the work, and he got paid regardless. Yeah, that's wasting money right there, Ed Rogers. Well, I don't have to pay him this year, Raptors freak. That's what I say right there. Shaq Lindsay saying Bobby isn't going to take any risks, but he isn't. Hang on, this saying. Where is it? Shaq Lindsay. Bobby isn't going to take any risks, but he is going to make the right decisions. You know, the things about Bobby, his strengths are a balance in the salary cap. That's the one thing that always pisses me off, is like when the press and people gaslight us and trying to make us think that our salary cap's all screwed up. It isn't. Josh Lundberg recently came out saying the over embellishment about the Raptors contracts and their situation is overblown. It's overblown. Everybody talks about Yak this, IQ this, RJ this, and it's all bullshit. Honestly, the cap expands with the new media deal, and the money will look all fine, even with Yak's contract that everybody hates so much. We need a center. It's essential. I don't give a shit if his production looks like this. I don't give a shit if you think he's hurt all the time. We don't have a center other than Yak. And paying that money for Yak is smart. Trust me. And every single person that says, oh, I hate Jakob Poeltl and his contract, you have been duped and conditioned in some ways, just like Alberta is duping and conditioning Seymour and gaslighting him with some of the information they give him. Because there are information people that are out there putting information out about the Raptors that are not for us, that want to divide fan nation and want us to turn on our players. And it's sad that so many Raptors fans are not loyal to Jakob Poeltl, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett. In fact, let's go look at the Raptors Reddit of the day this morning. It is Fins Up Raps. And this is the question. Do we really need to move off of Emmanuel Quickley? Do we really need to move off Emmanuel? Most people say the contract is bad, and I'm skeptical about IQ as a whole. He plays better off ball, but there aren't that many replacements that fit better than him that from who would be available. Garland is a true point guard that can create his shot more than IQ, but is $8 million more per year, and we already have cap issues. DeJounte Murray is essentially the same point guard from a scoring standpoint, but is a better at creating for himself, and only benefit would be getting out of the $32 million contract a year early. Trey, I don't see the Wizards moving off from him, but obviously is way more effective in creating his own shot, and again is a true point guard. I would argue on both those things that person just said about DeJounte and Trey Young being better at creating their own shot than IQ. That's absolutely horse crap. Emmanuel can make his own shot fine. Seriously. I know recency bias is a thing, and yes, if we had IQ, we probably would have made it out of the first round, and I know we were ahead of schedule, so generally it's not cause for concern, but the landscape is changing and trying to think if there truly is better alternatives. This is the thing. You know, once again, this guy's played with RJ Barrett for 6 years. That connection and continuity between IQ and RJ is valuable. IQ gets along with everybody. He loves playing in Toronto. He's wearing Maple Leaf shoes during the season. I don't understand why Raptors fans can't understand a New York Knicks fan nation hit job on the down low. On Raptors Reddit, there's a ton of Knicks fans posting like they're Raptors fans and gaslighting y'all. And in particular, in the last couple of years, they've been turning y'all on RJ and Emmanuel because that's their dudes from when they were on their team. And they don't want things to be all rosy and cushy between Raptors Nation and RJ and Emmanuel like it is with OG and the Knicks. Can you guys not understand this? Can people not connect the things here? That this is the whole movement of why anti-RJ and anti-IQ people come out of the woodworks and Raptors social media spaces. Because they're not Raptors fans. They're acting like they are. They're catfishes. They're people that are coming in to cause confusion and disruption and put out bullshit narratives. The IQ contract is not a problem. The Jakob contract is not a problem. RJ being on our team is not a problem. It's just that there's people out there trying to pull strings to pull it apart. And the thing about Jakob is very specific. Raptors fans have seen the difference between Jakob being available for the Raptors and not. We are much more powerful when we have a true center. The fans around the league have opened their eyes and seen this too. So the campaign to put down Jakob Poeltl's name and talk all this shit about him, he had an unfortunate back injury this year that made things look worse. But in the other years he's been on the Raptors again, he's been very powerful and strong for us. And that's the thing. The rest of the league sees that. And the enemies of our team know that if you take Yak off our team, we're basically Tampa Raptors again. So that is the energy that's behind this. We're talking about critical thinking today. Let's think about this. Why are so many people against those three players on the Raptors? Where does this energy come from? Think about it. The enemies of the Raptors want Poeltl off our team because we're easier to beat without a center. The New York fans want to win the trade that we had with them. So they're going to try and sully and do all kinds of crazy ass bullshit talking about RJ and Emmanuel. Because for some reason, they're so insecure, it's important to them that they win the OG trade. And some people in Raptors Nation say, well, it's obvious they won it. They're in the finals right now. Bullshit. It's a long race, motherfucker. And don't declare this one by the Knicks just because OG paid off earlier than RJ and Emmanuel. And you know what? Maybe that's part of the reason why Knicks fans want to see us get rid of them soon, because they don't want to see RJ blossom and go to another level in Toronto and then maybe feel like, oh, shit, maybe we shouldn't have got rid of RJ after all. They don't want to see Emmanuel go to a new level as a young player in the NBA on the Raptors in our jersey because they want to have this stupid victory that they think they won the OG trade. Why can't people see this as clear as I do? Why can't Raptors Nation see this? Why are y'all so gullible and sheep? Why are y'all so stupid? Why can't you fucking stand by your team players and stand and say, I love Jakob Poeltl. He's a Raptors draft pick. He just barely missed out on the Raptors championship because he got shipped to San Antonio with DeMar. I love RJ. He's Captain Canada, Star J. Barrett, Game 6 winner. This man's playing for his city. This man said he wants to be a Raptors for the rest of his life. And y'all are talking about shipping his ass out? Do you know where that energy comes from against RJ and Emmanuel? It comes from New York. It comes from the fisticuffs of ugly-ass hooligans in the street beating on San Antonio fans after they lost last night. Poor losers. Losers to the biggest L of losers is what I'm saying right there. Thank you for being the Raptors Redder of the day. Fins up, Raptors. There you go. There you go. There you go. Does that make sense? What I just said? Well, I hope that I maybe enlightened some Raptors fans today on the RJ, Jakob, Emmanuel stuff. Seriously. Seriously. That's right. That is right. Let's go. All right, let's see. Kaloy saying, I don't think Bobby accepted this extension just to be a yes man. I think that in their eyes, he is, and he will be, and that's fine. And, you know, in corporate structures, you have to understand the ladder. You have to understand who's above and who's below. And you have to understand you have to take care of the people that you have responsibility to above you. And I don't think this is a problem for Bobby. As long as there's no unreasonable dysfunction or something like that, Keith Pelly can see Bobby Webster doing his job well, and he'll stay out of it. That's the challenge. In some ways, it's like riding a surfboard. Just stay up on that board, stay successful, and you won't crash out. That's it. That's it right there. That's it right there. Let's see. Stargate saying, Shaq, Lindsay, and the rest of you are misled by the Black Lives Matter movement. I have done extensive research on this movement, and it is not what it appears to be. But that's another story. Well, either way, I don't listen. Stargate, I know you want to be truthful and get all that. Now, I don't want to go down this other path talking about, because I know part of what you're going to say is that it was like a front and there's a whole bunch of money that was squandered and wasted. People sent a bunch of money to it. I don't care about any of that. That's just bad publicity for a movement that symbolically is important. You know, the opposition to the Black Lives Movement Black Lives Matter movement, they made up all kinds of horse shit. That's what they do to political candidates that they don't like. They'll just start saying that, well, this is horrible because they misappropriated their funds that people gave them and all this kind of stuff. I mean, whatever the shit that you want to throw or fling at the BLM movement, you know, realize that some of that was written by right-wing pundits to down it, just so you know. But I don't want to get in this topic. This isn't a crossroad, a side shortcut that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. I'm not coming on here to talk about the real Black Lives Matter movement. So it's another story, and it's not really one we should talk about here because it's not something that's important, honestly. Shaq Lindsay saying black athletes get selected because of the political lottery system out of poverty. But let's not forget where they came from and where their family and friends lay. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Stargate saying, and nobody's more pro-black than me. I digress. Yeah. And we're not making a contest, and it's not a dick measuring contest either. It's just like, you know what? We can all be progressive and for the same things. And there's not really a quantity that's different, you know. We can all be supportive of the same causes. That's how I feel. Kaloy saying this, as an ethnic minority, I appreciate the sacrifices of the Black civil rights movement. And I know that the rights I enjoy now is because of that. I often remind the people around me about that. He is, as a Filipino man, this is how he feels about this. And this is right. I mean, look, in some ways, look, the civil rights movement, the trans right movement, the gay rights movement, they are all good for everybody. Seriously, me as a white male, I think civil rights movement benefited me also, because diversity and things are right. But you know what? The replacement theory people, the white supremacists, will tell me to be afraid and scared of people being treated equally as me. That's all bullshit and horse crap. They will prey on people's fears. There's already economic problems. So it has nothing to do with racial issues. It has to do with the government and corporations and billionaires squandering all the money and hoarding it. It has nothing to do with minority civil rights movements or people coming to take our jobs. No, AI's coming to take our jobs, not a Latino or a black person. That's, there's such a subterfuge, a lie to so many people that preys on their fears and emotions. And racism's one of them. Yeah, people get all worried about, oh no, the black and the Hispanic people are replacing us. Yeah, white supremacists get all worried about that kind of shit. I, as a white male, I think the civil rights movement has made my life more rich in diversity and better, because I honestly do believe, and this is true from my heart, and I have felt this way my whole life, is that everybody should have an equal chance. Everybody should have the same opportunities. And that has not been the case in this world for most of its history. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, that's what I would say right there. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, we all know that the Black Lives Matter movement was a marketing scheme, but the civil rights movement was real in the 1960s. I don't think BLM, I'm not jaded on it. I think it was very effective. I think that summer was very important that people did that. And I think that it had a real effect. I don't think that it was just some charade. I don't think it was some psyops. I don't think it was just some marketing campaign. Real people got in the streets for this shit. And just because maybe it's in the new age of, money and dark money and all this kind of stuff, it doesn't mean that BLM and what it stood for and what they did, what didn't matter in the right ways also, is what I would say. We can get jaded and look down on things and say, oh, well, it was really this and this. But what about all the positive benefits that came from it still, even though you want to say counter toward this, that, and that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like. People need to realize that. And in some ways, people poo-poo the BLM partly because they don't want people to realize just how powerful the people are. We get shit done if we get in a collective and we get organized. And that's what BLM showed me, is we get shit done. When the people want things to happen, we can get it done. The people will work it out. That's what I'm saying. Kaloy saying, so far, it's all fear-mongering at this point with Rogers' cheapness. Yeah, they fired Masai, but I don't think it's about the money, because they paid Masai his full contract. Yeah, they had to legally, but he didn't want to continue with them. It was more symbolic, and in some ways, it was a long time coming. And a little bit of a petty feud is basically more of what it was. Yeah. Kaloy saying, another point is the contracts that we are handing out are actually better than the early Masai years. I mean, I'm not paying attention to that kind of stuff. There's so many GM offices in sports that are absolutely horrible. Ours is not one of them. Anybody who characterizes the Raptors front office as not being good since the championship, you're idiots. We went through some of the most unfortunate shit that a sports franchise can ever go through in the history of sports. We had to relocate our team for an entire year in Florida. We had to go through a shutdown pandemic that the whole league had to deal with. We had to deal with a drain of our talent because the NBA came and snatched a bunch of our players in the following years after our championship. There's so many different things that we had to deal with. And in some ways, those things were done to try and bury us, but we didn't get buried, did we? Sure, we went through some tough years in Tampa and a couple of years around with Scotty and Precious and the end of OG and Fred and Pascal on our team. But look at how we've rebounded. And look at where we're going now and the trajectory we are on with Scotty and Colin Murray-Boyles. So come on, Raptors fans. Things can't be perfect every year. You get championship every year. Bullshit. We just went through one of the hardest periods of time any sports franchise has ever gone through, and we're already a playoff team again. So get a better perspective of the whole picture and stop doing this shit. Seriously. Stop doing this shit. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's see. Better in the sense we get bigger contracts now. The money's bigger. The TV money's bigger at this point. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm overpaid. Adam Hurley's saying he's overpaid right now. I'm not worth the minimum wage test I make. That's what I want to hear from my employees. And they'll be fine. Why me? I mean, listen, minimum wage has not gone up for so long to go along with the cost of living. And that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. You make the same money that you made 20 years ago, but houses are like this much more expensive. Food costs and gas are this much more expensive. That's the squeeze right there. That's the squeeze. That's why advocates for making the minimum wage higher, they're right. In some ways, AI and the way it's going to change society and the job market, we may actually need UBI like we did during the pandemic, where we gave checks to people, just a basic living checks. That's not bad for society. In fact, UBI has proven to be good for the economy, good for a small business, and good for societal health and just in general, lowering crime. You give people the money to take care of their housing, their food, and they don't have to worry about it. They're much happier and they're not stealing. They're not committing crimes. That's the whole thing. And what do? They spend the money in the economy. They go and buy stuff from small business. They buy stuff from their neighbors, and that money circulates. When that money sits in billion-dollar accounts offshore, oligarchs have, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't stay in the system. It doesn't see hand-to-hand going around. And that's why trickle up economics that Ronald Reagan started in the US in the 80s has been a huge fail, because everything's trickled up. And really what we need is a Robin Hood Act, like they're talking about in the States, where they're going to tax the billionaires correctly and redistribute that money societally to the public in the right ways. If we're going to be making money off of oil and resources, well, we should be like Norway and have a public fund that actually is a social safety net and helps everybody. But no, there's greedy ass motherfuckers that just want another zero on their bank account, and they're not thinking about the ecosystem of the planet and just humanity in general. And that's the thing we need. If we have a basic income and people have their basic needs met, a lot of problems go away. Trust me. And in fact, people have better opportunities to have their own business and thrive, is what the truth is. This has been done around the world in all kinds of places, even in North America. Some cities and states do this already, and it's working. That's the thing. That's the dirty little secret. Socialism works. You put the money back into the people and invest in them. You invest in society. Society gets better. Imagine that. Instead of all the money sitting in a vault like Smog on Lord of the Rings, with these fucking people like Elon Musk sitting on a huge pile of gold, and that gold don't ever leave that cave. Think about what I'm saying here. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Kaloy's saying, but the cheapness may be in the operation sides of things, was totally bad too. Well, we got to look at the Jays. The Jays are a good test of what they do with how they spend on their team. And the Jays is different levels. I mean, they've invested in Vlad Jr. They invest in Scotty. We invest in important people on the Raptors. We'll just have to see. It's a case by case. I don't totally trust them like you guys, but so far so good is what I will say in the transition from last year when we said adieu to Masai Ujiri. So far so good. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Stargate saying exactly, Lex. Lots of catfish and hockey fans are the ones who are anti-IQ, Yak, and RJ. Some of it may be Canadian hockey fans that don't want RJ to be popular, but I think it's more New York Knicks nation because they have a personal thing invested in this. RJ's a very lightning bolt kind of topic for Knicks nation. He was very controversial when he was there. There were pro RJ people and there were anti RJ people the whole time. And well, he comes to our team. You think those anti-RJ people have stopped? No, they still follow him, and they invade our Raptor spaces and put their bullshit out still. There's some people that really love RJ in Knicks Nation still and look at him as a Knicks legend and he love him. But in also the same case, as much as I don't want to see OG win another championship with a different team, they don't want to see RJ being successful on Toronto because they're Knicks fans and they love RJ, but they don't want to see him be better on Toronto. So some of it is a perception war. The media centers from New York City. So a lot of the writers and the people that cover the NBA are from that area, and they will be biased. Frank Isola, Stephen A. Smith, perfect examples. Neither one of those motherfuckers could vote for a Raptor on their postseason awards, Scotty Barnes or Colin Murray-Boyles, on any ballot. And they didn't. They didn't vote for Scotty for defensive anything. They didn't vote for Scotty for all NBA anything. And they didn't vote for Colin for all rookie either. Those two guys. And those guys are Knicks Nation. Those guys are prominent talking heads on TV that are on ESPN all the time that are for the Knicks. Frank Isola and Stephen A. Smith. And they are exactly it right there. That's right. Not Raptors fans. Not Raptors fans. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying RJ is 25 and he hasn't even hit his potential yet. Plus his devotion and commitment to the team is contagious, not toxic. Why would you want to get rid of that? I know. In today's world in sports, you question the heart of people and whether they'll go out for you. You don't with RJ for Toronto. And that's priceless. In some ways, that's priceless. If you can get that in the package for a player on your team, that is so priceless. And you're right. It's contagious in a positive way. And besides, you could have a player on your team that doesn't really want to be there, and they're absolutely making the team horrible. I'll bet you there's somebody on the Chicago Sky like that right now that does not want to be there, and they're making it more toxic. You got RJ who wants to be there so bad. And like I said, he's Canadian quality control. Somebody on the Raptors isn't playing as hard as they could. RJ's going to say, man, you're playing for my city. You better fucking get out there and work hard. He can say that and put a fire under people. And, his energy helps Scotty's energy, and Scotty's energy helps RJ's energy. And you can see that the two of them fit so well together on the court. So there's no logical reason for being anti-RJ if you're a Raptors fan. There's no logical reason at all. I don't get it at all. Some people like to make this argument. Just because he's from Toronto doesn't mean we have to just like him. That sounds like a Knicks fan just making up some bullshit. Just because Jalen Brunson is just from New York doesn't mean you have to like him either. So don't fucking tell me that shit to my face. Oh, just because RJ's Canadian, we have to like him? Yeah, you should. Because he wears the maple leaf and he wears the Raptors red. And he wears it earnestly and honestly to the fullest extent of his ability. And that's the thing we should be talking about. That's why would we get rid of that? I mean, seriously. No CEBL today, guys. They're off again today. They will resume games tomorrow. So, yeah, no CEBL to cover from last night and no games tonight. So let's look at the Toronto Tempo. Redditor of the day is Knowlesby. Knowlesby is actually one of the first super fans for the Toronto Tempo. He's that big guy that wears the Hawaiian shirt that sits at courtside that you see on the broadcast, the big bald guy with the beard. Well, he's posted something on Tempo Reddit today that says contest. Be my guest courtside at the game this Wednesday. Hello, fellow Tempo fans. My daughter convinced me that the Hawaiian shirt guy should have an Instagram account and help me set it up on Sunday. So to get the ball rolling and build some followers, I thought it might be fun to share the Tempo's courtside experience with someone from the subreddit. If you're age 18 plus, able to attend the game this Wednesday, June the 10th, versus the Connecticut Sun, and would like to join me courtside as my guest, all you need to do is follow my Instagram account and comment here with your favorite Tempo memory from the season so far. I'll randomly select the winner from all the follows and comments at 10 p.m. on Tuesday night, June the 9th. And we can arrange the details via DM. Good luck to all, and let's go Tempo. So that dude's cool, man. He has an extra seat courtside for the Tempo game against the Sun tomorrow night, and he has a contest open. So go find Knowlesby on Instagram if you are interested in trying to win that contest. What a great contest. Knowlesby, you're the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the day, and great to know your name now. Y'all, I want to do the straight goods on Canadian goods now. And it's really interesting. I'm doing Jameson. Y'all ever seen these bottles? Like you see these at health food store, at like Shoppers Drug Mart, CVS, Well, Shoppers. We'll say Shoppers. Canadian ones. PharmaSave. Jameson is a Canadian company, natural sourced since 1922 and very much Canadian. This is the thing. Jameson's very proud of this, right? Jameson is a Canadian health and wellness brand that has supported Canadians since 1922. Their headquarters is in Toronto and their facilities are across Ontario. Do they make their product here in Canada? Yes. Their plants are in Scarborough and Vaughan, I think. Scarborough and Windsor, actually. So yeah, if you need supplements, like this is vitamin C, you can get all kinds of different supplements. Jameson, this is the brand you should buy because this is a Canadian company. And this company, you can get all your vitamins and supplements from Jameson. And they're literally here in Toronto, in Ontario. So you're cutting down on shipping costs. That's another problem is we ship so many things by truck and plane everywhere. The fuel and stuff is environmentally bad. So when you are locally sourced more, it actually helps the planet also. So Jameson, this is your straight goods on Canadian goods. This is a fantastic brand to buy for vitamins and supplements. So yeah, there's your straight goods on Canadian goods. Jameson, very much an Ontario company. That's right. Yeah. Stargate saying, but neither did people like Doug Smith and Grange. They didn't vote for our players either. That's not true, actually. That's not true. That tells you something right there. We expect the Americans not to, but when the Canadians don't either. That's actually horse crap, Stargate. That's not true. Doug and Michael both voted for them. They did. The problem with Doug wasn't with Doug. Doug was fine. Doug voted for Scotty for defensive player and for all NBA. And he did vote for Colin too. So Doug is absolutely exonerated. But Michael Grange lied. Michael Grange said that he voted for Scotty for all NBA, but he did not. And it may be that Doug Smith did not vote for Scotty for all NBA, but he did vote for him for defensive player. And he did vote for Colin for rookie. And Grange voted for both of those too. It's just that I don't think neither one of them voted for Scotty for all NBA. That's the one thing they didn't do. That's the one thing. We want to make it clear. It could very well. And Grange made the reasoning. He thought, oh, Denny had a better year than Scotty. And so did Chet or something. It was stupid. His reasoning was dumb. Jalen Duren was another guy he voted for. Jalen Duren, Jalen Johnson, and Denny Avdia were the three guys that Michael Grange picked for third team All-NBA over Scotty Barnes. That's what they're guilty of. Both of them voted for defensive team for Scotty, and they both voted for Colin for rookie team too. And they both put Colin on the first team, just so you know. Okay? So we got to make this clear. Grange lied about voting for Scotty for all NBA, but he did vote for Scotty and Colin on the other stuff. I went and looked at this. I very much paid attention to this very closely. Now, Sola and Stephen A. Smith, they didn't come anywhere near any Raptors on their ballots. They didn't come anywhere near. That's different. Our Canadian guys did vote for our guys, just so you know. There's no doubt in my mind that both Grange and Doug Smith were paid not to vote for our players. They were not. Let's not spread misinformation. Grange went over his reasoning for why he didn't vote for Scotty for all NBA, but he did vote for Scotty for the other stuff. And Colin did get the rookie votes from them too. So we will say that. Randolph saying this: blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks fam. Know that to whom much is given, much is required. If you're not willing to extend yourself and do for others, you don't need much. That's something that's a topic that people talk about is wealth, is abundance. Your bank account doesn't show whether you're wealthy or not. The wealthiest people in the world are the people that are happy and content with what they got, and they go with that. They don't have any worries of what they want. I don't have all the money in the world, but I have enough that I'm very content and happy, and I feel very wealthy and in abundance because I have the things that I need. But there's people that are so wealthy that they can't be satiated. They can't be happy. And that's not wealth. That's just a psycho kind of mentality of like, I just need everything. I just need everything. No, everybody, when you're happy with a certain amount of things and what you got, you find wealth and abundance in that. And your bank account number doesn't have to be that big either. That's the true secret to it right there. It's not about having $1 trillion or $1 billion. It's about being able to live a happy, abundant life with what you've got and finding the happiness in that and not wanting more. Because that's the problem with some of these capitalist oligarchs that just keep going and want more and more and more. They're never happy. They never have a wealth. They never have abundance because they can't enjoy it, because they're still go, get it. No, that's not wealthy. That's not abundance. That's actually like sick, like cancer. That's like a malignant disease that eats everything and is never happy. That's what that is. That's the difference right there. Blessings to Phyllis family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Fiercely saying ridiculous. Scotty over those players. That's right. OG got Skechers Timberlands endorsement. Good for him. He's been wearing like Skechers or Timberland boots at times. I've seen him wearing them. I think he was wearing them in the OG commercials for Staples or something like that. All right, let's see. Is there any breaking news right now? Let me just see. Probably not. It's probably all stupid. Let's see. Okay, Tempo have something out that just dropped an hour ago. The hottest reservation in the city drops Thursday. Sign up or log in with your WNBA ID to be the first to preview the menu when it's live. Vote All-Star Finest. Oh, so they want us to vote for Tempo for WNBA All-Star. Fantastic. Okay, so they're already promoting that. That's what the Tempo are talking about right there. Let's see. That's it. That's the only breaking news that's important. Let's do some birthdays. We're gonna technically have to say happy birthday to Raptor Peja Stojakovic. Yeah, Peja. Peja played for the Raptors 2 games. That's all we got out of him. He did show up and put the jersey on. He got 20 points in a Raptors jersey over 2 games, averaged 10 points. Yeah, but it's Stojakovic's birthday. And technically, he's a Raptor. So we do have to say happy birthday to Peja Stojakovic, even though it's only 2 games. There's another Raptor that was barely a Raptor too today, and that's Sebastian Telfair. It's his birthday today also. Sebastian is turning 41 today. And, well, he played for the Raptors for 13 games. And 2012, 2013, and averaged about 4 points per game. Of course, Sebastian was involved in the Medicare fraud of the former NBA players that got in trouble. And, yeah, he's had a couple of issues and incidents since his NBA career. Regardless, happy 41st birthday to one-time Raptor Sebastian Telfair. And also happy birthday to Peja. Those are our Raptors birthdays of the day. Y'all check on your WNBA fantasy teams. I got a good lead on MK to start. Fiercey's winning so far. Kaz is winning. Cool Cat's winning. And Kareem's winning. So, yeah, set your lineups and get ready for WNBA action with your fantasy teams. That's right. Very, very important. Very, very important. All right, let me see. Kaloy saying this. I'm low-key offended that Scotty has no shoe deals yet. I'm not. I mean, why? Why would you be worried about this? Who cares? You know, Scotty's got all kinds of endorsement deals. You know, he's got foreign endorsement deals we don't even know about. Obviously, he's doing endorsement deals in China. You know, he's got the Subway. You know, he's had a couple. Google Pixel with Jack Armstrong. That's a big one right there. I mean, he's a spokesperson for Google in Canada with those ads that he does with Jack Armstrong. So, no, Scotty's doing all right with those bags. That was important to him. I remember. And after his rookie year, when he was on Twitch with us, we talked about him getting sponsorships. And he was totally ready to sign on. And then shortly after, he did sign on with Subway and did a bunch of Subway stuff after that. So, yeah, Scott's all about being a spokesperson and representing brands. He's not against that. He'll get his chances. Scotty gets his chances. Trust me. He gets his chances. He does. Yeah, let's see. Stargate saying, okay, I stand corrected. I'm a man enough to admit when I'm wrong due to lack of knowledge and can acquiesce to someone who knows what I don't. I appreciate that. And I would do the same also in these cases also. Yeah. It was mischaracterized. It's really just that Grange made a lie and we all caught him on it and it got blown out of proportion more. But Grange did vote for Scotty for defense. He did. I swear he did. He did. Yeah. Seymour is saying interesting to Kaloy. And Fiercey's saying, I will vote for Marina, Slim, Niara, and Kiki. Yeah, we've got some good candidates. I mean, the $1 million backcourt for sure should get strong consideration for All-Star. I don't know if Kiki will. Do they have like a rookie game? She should definitely be playing in that. Yeah, the skills trade thing that he does too. Yeah, there's a couple of different things that Scotty kind of endorses. You know, everybody's got little deals here and there. Grady with Gillette. RJ's doing Puma. There's different ones. Emmanuel was doing those commercials where his mom was calling him, but that wasn't really his mom. They got commercials. They got stuff they're doing. That's right. Stargate saying, yeah, he's Google. He has Subway. Yeah, he's got some good contracts. I mean, listen, Scotty's gonna make that money one way or another. Trust me, that's what he's about for real. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying, Stargate, which shoe would you like to see Scotty sign with if he had the opportunity? Me personally, I think he should sign with serious players only. Yeah, do a help out to your buddy J-Mo. Jonathan Mobo has his own shoe company called Serious Players Only. So, I bet you Jonathan maybe is kind of intimated to Scotty. Maybe it goes like this. Hey, Scott, do you think you would wear my shoes, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that the Nike guys might be mad at me, or I'm already wearing Kyrie's, right? Yeah, but bro, you could really help me, man. You're an all-star, bro. My company's up and coming. If you were a Serious Players Only like shoe guy, man, it would really bring some notoriety to our company, bro. You're my guy, man. You're my best friend. I'll think about it, Jonathan. I'll think about it, man. I'll think about it. I don't know. Maybe he should be doing it for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe he should be doing that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Scotty, maybe help out Mobo there, bro. Come on now. That's right. Let's see. Kaz is saying Google phones are ass. My wife has the Pixel twice, and it's nothing but problems. The next one will be Samsung. Interesting. So you don't like they always show those commercials like they're in a green screen and they're like on a subway. They're like, oh, it's got to say foul on the play. You've got to take those people out of the picture. Yeah, erase this with Google Pixel. You can re-edit this. Oh, you weren't in the picture? Well, we'll take a picture of you after the fact and we'll insert you in with your friends. That's right. You don't have to have a stranger take the picture of you on the street. You just take the picture and then they'll take a picture of you standing next to where they were. And then we'll just superimpose you over your friends. Google Pixel magic. Wow. It's amazing. I feel like an ad for them just now. That's right. Yeah. Stargate saying as Jordan brand. Why not go big? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, wait, let's figure this out. You want Scotty to have a shoe endorsement or do you want him to have his own signature shoe? That's the difference there. It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm with Nike. I'm with Puma. But there's also one thing to be, these are the Scotty Barnes version 1. Just like the Kyries, just like the Kevins, just like the Jordans. That's the thing. Do you want that is what I'm asking. Do you want Scotty to get his own shoe? Like these are Scotty Barnes. That's the thing. I wonder about that, right? Right? Yeah. Fiercely saying Clutch. Clutch is the company. That's right. Yeah. Interesting how those would sell like hotcakes in Canada. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Scotty, if he had shoes, they probably would sell really good up here. Stargate saying the IQ Clutch commercials are hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. Emmanuel's just such a talented guy. He's a really personable, funny man of God. He's a great drummer. And he's just a good person, guys. Emmanuel Quickly is a good character person. That's why, you know what? I'd rather have him than DeJounte. I'd rather have him than Darius Garland. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Kaloy saying, I think that's what I meant. I saw last week Cade is getting his own shoe, and they keep seeing that Cooper Flag New Balance ad. Now we need a Scotty Air Force Ones or something like that. Yeah. I mean, everything will happen the way they're supposed to happen in due time in the right way. Kaloy. So who knows? If Scotty blows up even more this season coming up from some of the stuff he showed in the playoffs, he becomes more known as a top 10 player in the NBA. Maybe this will develop and happen. It's all in its right order, right? All in its right order. All right, let's get the classic card. We're at 2.5 hours on the show. We like to keep the show around 2 hours, but sometimes we go long because we have very interesting high-level discussions about very high-level topics. The show can go longer, and that's what's happened today. All right, we got a classic card. It's a little bit easy. Let's see. Full name answer to get the classic card points. This is one of the last segments we do on the show. There is the classic card. Who is that player? Slug DZ will get it right away. Watch. Who is that player? Full name answer. Actually, I want the third part of it too because his son plays, and we need to designate which one this is. So, yeah, make sure you put that last little bit in, Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Tim Hardaway Sr. is this is so tough. It's a situation where I'm like, all right, he wrote it in there. It's like DZ, no, it's fine. I did this earlier. with the trivia question. I'm going to give the points to both you guys. But the sad thing is, it's only 50 points because it's such an easy card. So 25 points to Slug Deasy, 25 points to Stargate for Tim Hardaway Sr. and a Golden State Warriors jersey. Yeah, I liked him in the Warriors more than I liked him on the Heat. I really love the Run TMC era with Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin. Those were fun teams, Don Nelson. So yeah, there's old Tim. Yeah, Tim Hardaway. I don't know who's better, Tim Hardaway or Tim Hardaway Jr. Who's better, do you guys think? I think that Tim Hardaway Sr. is still better than Jr. because Jr. is kind of a bench player and Sr. was kind of an all-star, right? He was an all-star and he was involved in Team USA also. He was at the games that we had at Skydome in 94 right before we got the Raptors. So yeah, 50 points each. All right, Slug Deasy. That's fine. You guys will get 50 points each for Tim Hardaway Sr., the classic card of the day. And it's going to be Stargate and Slug Deasy. All right, let me write that in real quick. All right, it's there. Make sure you put the senior in because it could be either one. I know we've had junior too. Slug and Stargate. Okay. Yeah, it's already there. 50 points for both. All right, we'll add that in along with the trivia scores from before. All right. Yeah, let's see. Fiercely saying W stream. Thank you. Kaz saying, I'm sure you lead classic card leaderboard by like 1,000 points, bro. No, Slug Deasy is definitely the king of the classic card. I don't have those kind of stats tabulated. It's all mixed together. But yeah, Fiercey got the majority of her points through the trivia, but Slug Deasy definitely got the majority of his points through the classic card. Yeah, he's been very consistent and good on that. Yeah, Stargate saying not even close. Tim Hardaway Sr. is way better. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to give Stargate a dunk. For a very strong opinion on that. And also just being a fantastic Raptor freak today. Fantastic Raptor freak. All right, let's see. 66 on the dunk charts for Stargate. The man who beat the machine. That's right. Yeah, laughing my ass off. You don't need the extra 25 points. Man, Fiercey's got this. Like, y'all, if y'all don't know, this is the trophy here, right? I don't know if I should try and grab it. It's kind of back here, but it's got a nameplate. Old Commissioner Trivia David Saborin donated this trophy to the channel. And the 4 champions so far are on here. G, David Saborin, Amit Gaming, and Smooth Brown Man. And, well, Fiercey's name's going to go right here probably 2026. And, well, next year, who knows? Maybe Slug Deasy will go right here for 2027. You know, we'll have to see. But, yeah, every year it's like that. But, yeah, there's a – you know, that's the plaque right there. That's like the Stanley Cup of the channel right there in the corner. Yeah, the championship, the trivia championship. Kaz is saying, Lex, in my opinion, there should be separate points for trivia and classic card. To me, the reason why it's kind of evolved this way was that the classic card segment came about. And I was like, this is a cool segment. Trevor's sending me basketball cards, and I like doing this. It's been really fun, but it's in the same category to me because it's all trivia. And in some ways, also, there's been periods of time where I can't do a Tuesday trivia like I did today because there's a very busy schedule. Like we didn't have as many Tuesday trivias this season because of the tempo, because of like more stuff with the Raptors. So in some ways, it's a way to get trivia points every day, no matter what, because the trivia Tuesdays may not be like for like a couple months in between. So it's kind of like that. I just got to keep it all together. It's much easier. If I keep it all separated, it gets more work in some ways. It's more work. It's probably the big thing to say there. Yeah. Yeah, it can be tough to keep track of. Fierce is saying, job's not done. We still have playoff game. Listen, as soon as the Larry O'Brien goes out to the winner of the NBA championship, this season is done. And Fiercey, if I look at your score right now, in fact, I'll go look at it right this second. I'll read you guys exactly what it is. But this is before the totals for today because I haven't added them in yet. But on the Raptor Freak trivia score, I'll go over the top 5 trivia scores right now. Number 1, Fiercey Salsera, 35,504 points. Slug Deasy, number 2, 27,783 points. And then third place is 8,884. It's Amit Gaming. Kareem Thomas is fourth with 8,200, and Smooth is fifth with 7,050. So 2 former champions are in the top 5, and they're all over 7,000 points. But Slug and Fiercey are the only 2 that are in 5 digits. 27,000, 35,000, and then the third place is 8,000. So I'm just saying they're head and shoulders above the rest. And honestly, I was telling Slug Deezy a couple months ago, you won't be able to catch her. And that's still true because she's still getting points and she has like an 8,000 point lead. It's like we could add Amit's score to Slug Deezy's and then he'd be ahead of her, but just barely. You know what I'm saying? So second and third added together just barely beats number 1. So yeah, it's Fiercey's to win. It's Fiercey's to win. And this is the thing. A couple years ago, she was going to win and she had the lead. And then Amit came back and took it from her when he won it. And she just barely missed out on winning her championship. So this is her year. She's getting it. She's getting it. That's right. Mamba mentality. She's not letting down either. That's right. Let's see. Kaz is saying 2 finger salute to the New York Knicks. Shout out to Jalen Brunson for copying Kobe at the podium, just like Tatum copied KG. That mobile voiceover is hilarious. I trying to sound like him. Hey, Scott, you think you could do that for me, man? I don't know, man. I don't know. I try to, what I do is it's weird. Like when I do impressions of people, I'm not trying to be insulting. I literally method act. Like seriously, I act like my brain is that person all of a sudden. And then that's how their voice comes through my body. Like if I'm doing Masai, oh, Keith Pelly, what are you doing here in my office? Masai, the day has come. I'm sorry, buddy. Why are you here? What do you need to talk to me about? It's I have a tough job to do here, in some ways I just kind of get in the head of them and their voice comes out of me. I'm not trying to be insulting. I may do like Darko. It's like, Scotty Barnes is a fucking all-star. He's going to be a face of this league. I can do this shit. In some ways, they all got different inflections and little things to their voices. And it's a homage. It's an honor, except for Keith Pelly. But yeah, for most of the impressions, it's a characterization or it may be insulting to some people. But be just understanding that I do it to everybody. I'm not, I'm like South Park. I'm gonna do everybody at some point, and actually it's an endearment. It's an endearment thing when I do it. When I do a Bobby Webster impersonation, or a Masai Ujiri, or a Sandy Brondello, or whoever, Scotty Barnes, or whoever. It's pure love, and in some ways, it's just me trying to method act them from my brain is what it is. Yeah. You never heard of Serious Players Only? Check it out, man. Yeah, check it out. Serious Players Only footwear is a company that's Jonathan Mobo started with a friend of his, and they it's his shoe company. He wears the shoes from that company when he's on the court. So yeah, check it out. So yeah, Scott, maybe you should wear your buddy's shoes. Seriously, that's what I'm trying to say. All right, y'all. All right, let's go. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody playing Tuesday Trivia on the Raptor Freak channel. I hope you learned something about the Raptors front office today. Maybe you learned something about the media. Maybe you learned something about manipulation and what to believe and not to believe. Maybe you learned something about Knicks Nation being a bunch of criminals. Yeah. What is this? All right, we're going to get one right at the end. This will be funny. Good morning. You're on the Raptor Freak radio show. How are you today? That's the same call. They keep calling. It's Canadian Tire bullshit. They're like, is this Vinay? Vinay, you owe money to Canadian Tire charge card. It's not Vinay. Anyway, all right, I'm out, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Preview for Toronto Tempo versus Connecticut Sun. 3rd Commissioner Cup game in the history of the Tempo. And it will be at Coca-Cola. So, yeah, we'll be back. They want to sell me stuff? No. Vinay took a charge account card from Canadian Tire Charge Company, and he has not paid it back. That's a collection agency calling the person that had my phone number before me, and they've been calling consistently for over a year now because he owes money to everybody every which way. He got rid of that number, and they still call that number because they want Vinay to come correct with paying what he owes. And he owes money to the Canadian Tire Charge Card people. because he opened a charge card with Canadian Tire, spent a bunch of money, didn't pay any of it. He's a scam artist. And in some ways, my phone gets all the calls from the collectors for Vinay. We know about Vinay on this channel, right? That's who it is. That's right. They don't want to sell me nothing. No, they don't. They're trying to intimidate and talk to Vinay. I'm not Vinay. This is the Raptor Freak channel. That's right. Yeah, Fusion saying, I keep getting bombarded with calls from TELUS and Rogers to switch my phone plan to them without charge. But I know there's a new law coming out in days where any Canadian consumer can switch without the charge. Duh. There you go. All right. Well, that's good information. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go, Tempo. Let's go, Tempo. Let's go, Tempo. Let's go, Monique. Monique's going to the game tomorrow. Superfan Mo, you have a good time at the game tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Latest lineup news and ref report for the Tempo game tomorrow in the morning, 9:30 a.m. I'll be back. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Raptors.